every time she posts something about,
now I just
Where
have
is
to figure out.
Keber.com? I got like a hoodie, I got a sweatshirt, I got chilies.
I love it.
Crazy. And I got my shipment the other day. I was like, yeah, it's just like
Yeah, because I think they do it by like when they get like a certain amount ordered and then they make them.
Well, and then there was something on there because the tornadoes or whatever. So I don't know. It was just the way I was finally got some Advocare.
Really cute.
And then we since my husband's the captain of our church softball league, we just ordered 15 t-shirts. It was $300 and it says HCC Inferno. And it's right. It's got the Advocare logo with like a flame behind it.
Oh,
And then it's on my website, wsparktolife.com. So
I love that.
yeah.
And it was a write-off.
I know that time. Yeah.
There you go.
And they're like sleeveless t-shirts for each. They got numbers on the back, so we'll use them again when we go into basketball.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah. That's great. That's great marketing. I mean, that's probably better use for your money than a move.
Yeah, I'm gonna be out there with
My father texted me from the church. I've been placed in the dance church, and he had a shirt on up there. Playing the bass.
I love it. I love that book for me. I'm probably not the book for you.
So we need to show him Josh Weather's story. He's Diamond at 13 and a half months, but he's a church rock star. Like, he's like, no, I was going to be a rock star. Like, I wasn't going to be doing Advocare. I was going to be a rock star. That was still my dream, you know. And he's like, now I get to be a rock star. I don't have to worry if they pay me or, you know, or what my time or anything like that. So.
Yeah, he's really good at just kind of telling people. That's my wife, you know, but I'm on like day 10 again. Like, I gotta lose the man boobs again. They're back. They come back. They come back. Yeah, he's like, this is ridiculous. They need to go. I need to get back on the channel. But he's only day 10 or something.
How are you?
If you guys don't mind, we're gonna wait a couple more minutes just because we had a lot of people RSVP, and I just want to I don't want a straight up coming in when we're already training. If that's okay with you guys, just wait a couple more minutes.
Sure.
Hi.
So I kind of want to
Hey guys, how are you?
Hello, how are you? Long time. It has been a while.
Oh my gosh!
I don't recognize her, huh?
Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh my gosh, everyone's here all the time. It's been too long. I haven't seen. No, it's not like it's like in the church.
I've met a couple.
I'm like, you know, you're starting or something.
Is he a sick guy?
I love that.
In Tacoma?
I'm in Forever City.
Everything like all at once or what? Oh yeah.
Good. Yeah. Maybe.
I didn't look down at your food. Yay, okay, good. I'm excited for this.
I know it's gonna be amazing.
Is she feeling better? Hi, Jerry.
How are you?
It's so good to see you. You look so awesome. You are amazing. Hi, Heather. Nice to meet you.
Oh, these couches are amazing. It's just like, hello. Oh,
I see you when I freaking out here.
We're so excited.
So cool.
You're going to live tomorrow.
No.
What's that?
That we're having a baby.
Oh.
How are you?
That'll be fun just to start.
Great, how are you? Life, my
Just
dear.
to mess with people.
Oh gosh, yeah, I should you're facing it out a little.
Hi, I'm Julie.
Heather.
Nice to meet you. I don't think we haven't met before, and I've got a bad memory, so. I don't know if you met my fiance Jerry. That's Jerry.
Hi.
Heather.
Nice to meet you.
Yes.
Still working?
No,
Where do you live,
I'm
Heather?
working
I live
at,
in Marysville.
Hey, hon.
Oh, okay.
Where's,
oh, your job.
Very nice to meet you.
In a different position,
Um,
but
it's
it's
me first,
it's
okay.
been awesome, new thing. There's this program called Advocare, so that's what we were doing there. So, yeah,
Nice to see you.
I'm kind of in a different role.
Yeah,
usually,
I'm Julie. Nice to meet you. Cameron, nice to meet
But I
you.
love it. And I told them I'm only a year done in a year of training, and so it's just like,
Nice to be hired. Knowing that. So there's no hard feelings, right?
Mhm.
You guys can talk
Yeah,
about
and it feels good to just be able to say like, I'm not committed, but
6 weeks?
what, I like
Yeah, congratulations.
driving around, like stressed out, like, oh, we wait, so then I pit like, some materials
we're
are
live.
horrible. Oh.
Hello, goodbye. That was when they walked in. Okay, so let's see.
And the camera's like right here.
No, not yet. You want to set it there? Yeah, right. Seriously.
Pretty good. Not gonna lie, I'm not gonna say it.
I have some worksheets for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think we can buy that at Costco.
Yeah.
Is where I saw it.
It's a very, it seems like that.
I can't buy that at Eat It All.
See, I'm good. I cannot eat something but myself starting. They're not doing it.
I'm kind of like that too.
So all of that.
I was like, yeah. I have
What
been
flavor is
candy recently in
Watermelon.
my house, but usually it's like, you also do stuff with these, I will touch it for months.
I think that my
If I
kids
have
have
one,
favorite.
Yep.
I like the whole
Box
box.
is gone.
Yeah.
Here you are.
Yeah, they
Thank you.
box.
I remember
We
we
have
have
too
too
much
much
one night, we were like, oh my god, we just ate a whole sleeve of rolled cookies.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you guys live in the area? Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yep. So we're recording and we're live. Allison's got some handouts for you guys. Just know, I think we're going to have quite a few more people walking in the door. I've been getting some texts that say they're almost here. So, but I want to respect your guys' time. We want to go ahead and get started. For those of you who don't know me, everybody knows me, I think, but just in case you don't, I'm Allison Keber. This is my husband, Ian, and my home, and our 3 beautiful children. And we've actually just recently been able to move into this home because of Advocare. So, very excited to have you in our living room today. And this is my beautiful friend, Allison Fisher. All of you guys pretty much know her. She and Jeff just pinned the emerald level. Hi, guys. Come on in. Hi. We've got some seats, and we've got, gotta go make yourself comfortable on the couch. There's 2 seats over here. Yeah, and we can go get some more chairs too, if we need more chairs.
Do we help with that? Cheers.
I think I'm a dining room chairs is what I've got, so thanks, Mary. So what I want to do first is we'll just kind of let people have a seat. Hi. Let people go ahead and have a seat, but why don't we just go around and start introducing ourselves? Just kind of a nice little icebreaker, but let's get your name. And maybe when you came on board with Advocare. And let's do one fun fact. volleyball in high school, in middle school and high school, and that was actually my big sport, and I was a setter, believe it or not. As tall as I am, I was the setter in volleyball. So there's a fun fact about me. All right, you want to go first?
Hey everybody, my name's Cameron. Don't really see too many familiar faces. I've only been around for probably 6 months on and off, but I've gotten real serious in the last couple of weeks. My girlfriend's also involved. She's down in Georgia. She's been working pretty hard down there.
Is that Lauren?
Yeah.
Okay, that's now making the connection.
Yeah, and fun fact about me, I used to be able to run a 40 and 4.4 in high school.
Whoa, and with Advocare, you're going to get back to that.
That's pretty sweet.
Michael, April 2010, when I got involved. Fun fact.
Something new that just happened in your life.
Well, I thought that was like public information. I just had a new baby 6 weeks ago. Well,
he didn't.
That'd be new sign. Yeah, new stuff. No, so I've got a 5-year-old son and a 6-week-old baby. And fun fact there is that my son tries to hold her more than I do. My baby likes you. No, you can't pick her up. You're not my baby. So there you go.
My name's Nick. I've been taking Advocare since about March. I actually just became an advisor this week.
Woo!
So that's the biggest thrill in my life right now.
Awesome, I love it.
Hi, I'm Devin. Nick and I started about, like you said, March. And fun fact is, I definitely sing in the car when I'm by myself.
All right, raise a hand. Who else does? And I don't know about you, but I'm really good. The audience in my car usually is like, they're all cheers.
Good morning, I'm Lily Holstein for 2 more months. And then I get to marry this wonderful man. I started taking products last summer and became intentional with the business at the start of this year. And fun fact, I got to study abroad in Switzerland in college and had a lot of fun in Europe.
And I'm Jerry Tussle, the future Mr. Tussle, I guess. Started taking Advocare products about right when Keber's first started, about maybe 3.5 years ago, and became an advisor last summer, and we hit the silver level in January, I think. And fun fact is, let's see here, I moved here 10 years ago, didn't know anybody. So, I moved from Illinois.
I'm Jennifer Terry, came down from Bellingham, and started Advocare 2 years ago this month, or May, so I guess today's June, so a 2-year anniversary. And fun fact about me is I used to be a barrel racer, and Advocare is kind of open that 3 months, starting with my daughter, so we're on our way.
And I think there's some good news. Isn't there like a new house with some land and?
We are. My goal was by this month, 2 years, to have her on a horse. So our first step is getting our house sold. We're in the process of finding properties. We're there. We're getting there. Love it.
My name is Lenny. I've been taking product for about 13 months now. Became an advisor last November. Fun fact about me is I'm trying to like rack my brain here. Oh dear, I have I guess my 4 kids are just what keeps me laughing all the time. So I'm gonna call them this my 4 kids. And a lot of what I'm working for. So.
And you just retired your watch repair business.
I
That's
did.
pretty exciting.
Well, yeah. So I became I don't know if you all remember the UTA training that was coming that Michael Brady put together. But I got certified there, and so now I put the rest to my personal training, and now I'm working UTA, my personal training business full time. So.
Good.
Congratulations, Lenny. That's awesome.
I'm Teresa. I've been with Advocare on product and a hobbyist for like 20 months. I am ready to go serious in the
that you are looking slimmer and slimmer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have lost 15 inches on my waist in
Wow. You look great.
I'm Andy. I've been using product for about a month and a half now, and we're just starting to get into the swing of it, full scale. Fun fact is we're really close to closing the deal on our first house, so we're really excited to be homeowners for the first time.
Good. Congratulations. Awesome.
I'm Amy Richmond for the next 3 months, and then I'll be Amy Fagerness. I actually hadn't tried product at all, and Megan Fisher introduced me to the business, and I saw Megan's amazing transformation and believed right after that. So I will be advisor by Tuesday. Fun fact about me. I have three small children, and eventually will open a daycare just for fun.
Wow. God bless you.
And you're a comedian.
That is awesome. But we know people out there need childcare, and they need people like you who have a heart just for that. That is awesome.
And it won't be a financial issue for me.
That's huge for you not bringing that stress onto those kids that are there with you. Awesome.
Sorry. My name is Angelica. I started Advocare. I started products in January of this year. I signed up as a distributor in February, and then about a little over 6 weeks later, I got to advisor. I'm super excited about all of the opportunities, and I can see freedom in my future, so I'm really excited about that. Fun fact, I have 2 kids. One is 15 and the other one just turned 3. I have the big gamut there between the two. The 15-year-old's babysitting the 3-year-old today, so I could be here. Yeah.
Nice.
I know.
My 15-year-old knows you like kids too.
So yeah, super excited to be here.
I'm Helen Nealon. This is actually my sister who, she saw my results and, went, what are you doing? Because, I didn't want to push it on her and stuff, but
I would have run.
Yeah, she would have run. So I let my results speak for itself. And we started product in August, became advisors in September. And so, we started doing it just so we could spend more time with our kids and stuff. Get out of that little, pit we're in. And so, fun fact
You're
about
here. You have arrived at your destination.
about me is that when I was born, they had 8 other boys born that night, so they automatically just marked me off as a boy.
Oh, wow.
So when my mom opened the blanket up, she's like, this is not a boy.
Oh my goodness. So really quick, change the birth certificate.
Exactly, yes. But I did grow up to kind of be a tomboy, so that kind of fit.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm Jim Nealon. Helen's my wife, and I thank God she was not a boy, and I have a couple of kids. But we started this in August, and I was an athlete in high school and college. I played volleyball in college. I used to be a cyclist, semi-pro, I guess is what it would be. And probably over the course of the last 15 years, ironically, the time I've been married to my wife, put on quite a bit of weight. So
Happy. That's what happens when you're happy.
Yeah. She's Italian, pasta, I need to say more. But since August, I've lost over 40 pounds so far, and I had type 2 diabetes, and that's gone away supposedly, and I mean, it's a great thing. So this has been kind of a real family thing. She dragged me into this. I hate to say, I mean, she says, we're gonna go do this, and I'm like, okay, whatever, and it's worked, and we're helping our family, and we're helping other people, and I mean, it's great. So I guess the interesting thing would be, I played volleyball in college, I guess. So
That's pretty cool.
My name's Johnny. I've been in Advocare about 6 months. Love it. Love the products. Got my daughter on it, my husband on it, friends on it. Funny, I used to barrel race as well forever. That's awesome. Miss it. And something funny, I cannot sing. My mother told me I should try humming in church. So, I did sing in the car, but
I got that word from God directly. He just told me, that's not the gift I gave you.
Or 2 years in a mouth for one less one.
I don't want to hear you say.
Hi, my name is Heather. I started in March, actually. So just kind of getting into it, really excited about it. Started, I got my distributor half before I signed up for the 24-day challenge, just because I could see how amazing it was already going to be. And a fun fact about me, I'm a grandma.
And everybody falls over.
How old? He is 10 months, and my second grandchild will be here August 1st.
Wow. Congratulations.
I'm Sharice Booker, and I've been with Advocare for a year and a half as a business builder. And I guess fun fact about me, I used to play the flute. And
did you really? Me too. And I was first chair.
But now I don't know how I would sound.
It's not like riding a bike.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I bet you guys.
Hi everyone, I'm Lene Wilson, and I started the business June last year. It's almost been a year. A fun fact about me is after having lost almost 50 pounds, I'm starting a fitness competition for October. So I'm training for that right now. So yay! Oh, so exciting.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kim Carkey, and I started taking products late last year through my friends Jamila and Sharice and Jamar. And then I did the 24-day challenge in April and feel great. And fun fact about me is I used to be a ballerina dance growing up, and so it feels good to kind of get back into shape a little bit.
I was going to say, you have a dancer's body. I can see that, yeah.
My name is Jamila April, and I'm not interested in opening a daycare. Let's see, I believe that I started products through Sharice and Jamar back in September, became advisor pretty quickly, so I believe about December. A fun fact about me is I'm Seattle's best massage therapist.
I can't, but I want to.
Not right now.
I mean, I'll take notes.
Exactly. Got a little key. All of a sudden, everybody got a little kick right now.
My name's Amanda Hill, and June 2010 is when the products came into my household for my husband first, me in August. Then the business side of Advocare, probably the fun fact is the person who spent the most to become advisor. Yes, we'll see her later. And pin silver though after you make that decision in 6 months. And then for 2 years, building the business pretty much by myself, kind of more at the hobbyist level, but my husband just got on board after successful in January, so we've been propelling faster thanks to him being my teammates. So, fun fact, I was a ballerina for 13 years, but most people don't know I have a BA in Spanish, foreign language, because I lived in Europe for 4 months myself in Spain. But don't ask me to speak anything.
I won't know what you say when you ask me. Pretend you watch Dora.
I'm Gail Fisher, and I started on product last October for my son's wedding, and I made it long.
If you can't tell, yeah.
Okay, so I'm Megan, and we started on products last March, and then I got on board with the business in probably like July or September, August, something like that last year. And I lost 79 pounds through the products, and
fun, like, personal fact?
I don't know. I used to play the violin in school, but I was really sucky at it, so I would just pretend. So they'd be like, that would be me and my friends because we couldn't play.
So that's cool.
Yeah, we wanted to get out of the class, so.
Did we do a fun fact about you?
No, we didn't do a fun fact about
I introduced you, but we didn't do a fun fact.
Oh, gosh. Well, I actually grew up in Texas, and so I love going back for Success School because it feels like home. And I like to cook Southern style, which I've tried to change with the newer it's hard, and so that's a challenge sometimes, but thank goodness for Carvey's. I definitely look a lot better now, but my dream is, I have this secret little dream of being one of the chefs on Keber.
Your desserts will get you there.
What?
Your desserts will get you there. And you also went to etiquette, is it charm school?
I did.
Yeah.
I had to go to charm school growing up.
Texas. It does come in handy though when you're sitting on a formal dinner with her and you're like, which one's my son? She's like,
I think it made me rebel though, and Jeff would say he doesn't see a lot of my training.
I wouldn't say you married Jeff after that.
all right, guys, well, let's go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for sharing. Most importantly, thank you for being here. I think on a sunny day, first sunny day that we've had in a while, you guys could have chosen a lot of different activities, those of you that have joined us online too, that you could be doing right now. And, you know, one thing that Allison, a big thing that Allison and I took away when we went to the Dream Big incentive in Tahoe was that people who are doing well in Advocare, they put away the excuses. They sacrifice now to know that they will have more later. And that was a big theme of what we heard going through the stories and through the training is that, you know, Advocare is meant to be built however you choose to build it and however you choose to fit it into your life. But if you want to get to that higher level, if you want to get to the ruby level, the emerald level, the diamond level, there's going to be some things that you're going to have to give up to be able to get there. And so that's kind of what we want to share with you guys is we want to share with you some of the stories that we heard by people that are having success. But let me tell you, everything that we're going to share with you today and we're going to try to download what we got, it can't even like nothing minuscule of what it's like to actually be in that room. And there was 250 people in that room this year. Bob and Jenny's vision for next year is to have 1,000 people from their team in that room. And I instantly had a vision of 100 of those people are from our team. And so we're excited because what did we have, 12? So we're going to go from 12 to 100 and this year. And I really believe that we can do it. It's you get to the 3-star gold level, okay, and you basically get into that Dream Big leadership. Not only do you get training there, but you get to hear people's stories. You get leadership training. So it's not, this training isn't, you know, someone asked me, like, is this going to be another basic training? No, I'm not going to go into any of the basics today. We're going to talk more of leadership because in Advocare, we're leadership-based compensation. You guys you make more money by the better leadership that you attain, right? And that's why we have the leadership ladder that you go up, the silver, the gold, 3-star, that's leadership based. That's helping other people build their business. Now, as you guys know, obviously we all make money because we have products, right? So I don't ever want to take that away. But a big thing that we got from some of the stories that were shared is that, ironically enough, the people who are earning big incomes in this business, most of them aren't leading with the products. A lot of them are leading with the business opportunity. And I'll admit to you guys, when Ian and I started this 3.5 years ago, that scared me. I don't know about any of you guys, but like I could talk about the products. They worked really well for me.
I knew pretty much everybody was taking some sort of supplements, like everything that wrapped around the products just made sense in my brain. It was easy. I could tell all my girlfriends, you should do this. I lost 16 pounds, 12.5 inches. They were on board. But when it came to the business, I was scared. I was scared that people would judge me. They would think that I was trying to get them wrapped into something, that I was trying to make money off of them. I had all these like preconceived notions in my head. And I'll tell you, we actually have probably one of our girls that's watching, a girlfriend of mine from high school, who she got really great product results when we very first started. And she actually asked us about the business opportunity. But at that time, I was so scared, you guys, that I would say, oh, talk to my husband about that. If you're interested in, talk to my husband. And I thought I was doing people a favor because he knew about the business. He understood the pay plan. I did not. I didn't even know how we were really making money. We just were. So he understood all of that. But here's what I did, is that for 3 years, she didn't see herself being able to build this business. Because she thought, oh, well, if my husband isn't on board and my husband doesn't do this with me, then I guess this isn't really something that I can do. So I immediately showed her that you have to be a couple, you have to be fully on board, the man does the business, the woman goes out and gets, like all of these things that I was showing her were what she thought of the business. So for 3 years, her family has been struggling financially. And that tears me up, you guys, because it's because of my fear, my insecurities, all the things that I had in my head that I held someone back for the last 3 years of building their business. Okay? And, you know, I think of like, and all she needs to earn is $1,000 a month. That's what she needs to earn. And she's been working another business for 8 years, and she's never made $1,000 a month. So that's how good our opportunity is. And she did well. And their standards, she was actually doing well. So I wanted to share that with you guys, and that's where I wanted to start, because what we heard a lot at this training was those people who are doing well and doing well fast, they're leading with the business opportunity. So I want to share someone's story that we heard with you guys, and Allison's how we're gonna kind of do the training today is we're just gonna bounce back and forth off of each other, because we just thought, you know what, we both had different perspectives from seeing the same thing. And, you know, I wish we had Jeff and Lindy and Alyssa and Dustin here too, so that we could have all of our perspectives, but you're gonna get ours. So, the first story that I want to share with you is Josh and Katie Weathers. Katie Weathers. They made diamond in 13.5 months. Okay? So not the fastest diamond, but fast. That's what I mean. Does anybody here want to make diamond in 13.5 months, right? Okay, so let me just walk you through kind of their story. So Katie is a school teacher, elementary school teacher, and one of the moms had shared Advocare with her, shared the 24-day challenge, gave her a sparked her properly, right? Katie said, I'm not interested in diet pills and all of that stuff, and, you know, just kind of put that to the side. But a couple of months went by, and then she finally tried the spark. And when she did, she felt amazing. And so that's when she said, okay, I want to try the 24-day challenge. So she went back to the student's mom. Okay, and you guys are going to hear me say this a lot, but there's training in that, right? One, they weren't friends, so it wasn't on necessarily her warm market list, but this person shared a spark with the teacher, right? Have any of you sparked your kids' teachers yet? Okay. So, or daycare providers, or you know what I mean? So there's a lot of people in our lives that need this product, and we just haven't even talked to them about it, okay? So she's a teacher. She gets on 24-day challenge, has great results, and she gets invited into the success system. She gets invited to an event. And at first, correct me if I'm wrong, she thought, I'm not interested in this. There's no way I could sell this, right? Because that's, of course, how a lot of people see it initially. But her friend said, you just need to get to this event. You need to see this other side of Advocare, the other opportunity. And she said she went to that event, and that's where everything opened up for her. Okay, so there's training in that, getting people to events. They can't see it the way you see it until they've seen it. Does that make sense? Right? So you're not enough. That's why we have the success system. Her friend said, look, just trust me. And I think what her friend said is she asked her the question, look, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? And this, again, this is the mom of a student. She didn't know where their life was, but they were struggling financially, like most Americans, right? But she didn't know that, but she knew she needed to bring her that information. And so she went to that first event. 10 days later, she got to advisor, and she went to success school. And that success school is when she said she caught the vision, right? And again, there's training in that. The vision is always caught, okay? It's never given, or it's never trained into. It's caught.
It's not taught.
It's not taught, right? Amanda Hill, great example. She went to a ladies' night, just like we're about ready to have. And that's where she caught the vision for herself. I didn't teach her that. I just simply invited her to come to a woman's event. Okay? That was all I was really hoping, is that there was something there that for herself that she would see, whether that was becoming a better mom, a better wife. I wasn't really concerned if it was to do Advocare or build the Advocare business. She caught that. Okay? That's what happened for Katie. Here's another fun fact about Katie and Josh. Their mentors, who were actually really building the business, live out of state. Okay? There's training in that, right? The success system, the phone knows no distance. And the biggest training that I see in your mentors living out of state, because here's the thing, so the lady who shared Spark with her was a hobbyist. The people above that hobbyist are actually building the business and have been building the business for quite a few years. And so she said, my mentors were out of state, but I didn't let that dictate my speed. I found whatever events were available to go to in my area, and I went to events. I didn't wait for my mentor to come down and do one for me. I drove myself to events. I got to events. Now, her husband wasn't on board at first. He was the guy that I was saying wanted to be the rock star. He was singing in a church choir. He was all about just his dreams were to be a rock star, and they even said they like to party. You know, that was kind of one of their escapes, is they went out and they drank on the weekends, and that was how they had fun. And he said, so that was still the mindset he was in. And what she did is she invited him to an event. Okay? And so he came to an event, and he saw, and he actually looked at her and said, why didn't you tell me that this was what you're doing? And she's like,
income disclosure.
yeah, he saw the income disclosure, yeah. And he said he saw them, was it at the Emerald level? Yes. And so he saw the Emerald income and was like, why didn't you tell me about this? Okay. So he said, we didn't really know, going forward in their journey, they didn't really understand the play plan. They didn't really understand how all of that stuff worked, how the leadership levels worked, but they understood what kind of money they needed to earn to buy their freedom back. And that was the Emerald level, okay? So they weren't focused on getting to Emerald. They were focused on the money that was there with Emerald, right? They were focused on the $15,000 a month, okay? So there's training in that, right? A lot of times we think about like, oh, I want to be Ruby, or I want to be Emerald, or I want to be Diamond. That's great, but what the money that's associated with that, and we're going to go into a bigger training about that. A lot of you guys have seen the So That statements, so we're going to go into that training. That's a big one that we're going to do today. But, so what they did is they said, we just filled up our car. And Josh even said, we would drive to people's houses and be like, beep, beep, we're here. You said you'd come, and people would try to be like, oh, nope, we're here. Get in the car. We're here.
I wrote down that it said, come with me. This is going to change your life. So you would just go pick people up.
And I wrote down that he would tell people, you owe it to yourself. Don't do it for me. Do it for you.
He said he knew if he could get them in a room with someone like Danny McDaniel. How nice would that be to bring someone to a Danny McDaniel event? But we've got awesome leaders here. But he said he knew if he could get someone in a room with Danny McDaniel, he knew that they would catch the vision. I have some random things that I'll just tell you guys because I thought they were good. One of the things that he said when he started getting passionate about the business is he said, and this is so simple, he said, how do you become a diamond? Just do more than other people. Really. He said if they told us to do 5 mixers a week, we did 10 mixers in a week. That's what we did. And we knew it was temporary, but it was going to buy us our freedom in the long run. He said to know what your team wants, know what their purpose and their vision is, and remind them of that and help them to get that. That's going to drive you for your team. And he said, he talked about the importance of looking like a diamond. I think someone had told him, you need to look like a diamond. So he said, so I got in the car and I went to JCPenney and I got some suits. So I should look like a diamond. So I just love that.
Yeah. And I wrote down too, one thing that I really took away, and this is something that, a mindset that Ian and I adapted right off the get-go, is that he said, I'm going to do what the successful guys told me to do. Right? Sounds pretty simple, but that's the same mindset that we adopted. I mean, we looked at Wayne, who was making $50,000 a month, and we were like, yeah, we want that. We want that guy's life. We want to have what that guy has, the kind of freedom that he and his family have by earning $50,000 a month. How do we get that? Well, we're going to do whatever he tells us to do, right? And so, same thing, right? We heard that same thing from Josh and Katie. They just said, look, if Danny or our mentors, Stan and Melanie, or Jamal and Serena, those are their mentors, told us to, do 5 mixers a week, we did 10, right? They just wanted to do more because they were focused on the money that they needed to get out of their financial situation. It wasn't about getting to diamond as fast as possible for them. He said, in fact, we didn't even ever really look at our override report, which some of you are so new that you don't even know what that is yet. That's good. Like, don't get focused on the overrides. He said, I knew who was making money in my organization by who was talking to me and who was putting me to work. Right? And I thought, that's so good. If you just go with the people who say, I want your help. That's why Wayne and Mike and Janelle glommed onto us, because we said, we want it, we're here. And if you guys are here at the training, you're here, again, that says to us, you want it, right? I don't need to look at the override report and go, oh, what are they doing today? I know that you're working. I know that you're doing something, and I know that you're the people that we fight for, right? That we go and help. Because it's like Ron Reynolds says, you take 2 steps, I'll take 1. Right? And so he said they did a lot of mixers, and how they did mixers is they were willing to sacrifice at first. So he would go to 1 mixer a night, she'd go to the next mixer. It wasn't this like, they talked a lot about this having balance. I think a lot of us go, oh, well, we need balance in our lives, and I've been guilty of it, absolutely guilty of like, well, we need to find the balance. Well, the reality of it is your life, most of us, is so unbalanced right now. Don't try to get more balance, right? You're trying to buy your future, not tomorrow, okay? And that's what they talked a lot about, is that a lot of us live in that immediate. Like, what's our immediate gratification? And so we'll do a mixer, and we'll have a really good mixer, and then we'll go, oh, I felt good. I'll do another one of those next week. They were like, no, let's go do another one tomorrow night, because momentum. We're gonna go do another mixer. And so they would go opposite directions. And something that they said, and actually her sister, who was the fastest to diamond underneath them, they both said, one thing that they said is, we're willing to have us and our children sacrifice now so that we can have our forever. And I thought, that's so, so good. What are you willing to sacrifice right now so you can have your forever? Too many of us fall into that comfort where we're like, well, no, we're working. We're doing okay. We're doing good. But do you want to do okay? Or do you want to do great? Right? Because okay, unfortunately, keeps us in that same place of really, why are we doing Advocare then? Yeah. And they said something that they've always done is they've always led with the opportunity.
I like that he also said, you know, how many times, I'm really guilty of this, but how many times do you get on the computer and just sit there and look at your reports and see how everybody's doing? But he said, get off the reports and get on the phone and get into their lives. Pick up the phone and call them instead of looking at the numbers.
I remember Lindy Haskins and I, one time we did a training, this is probably like a year and a half ago together, and I know she's watching. But you can fall in that trap of kind of like looking at your volume and earnings, and you're like, did I make any money today? Or, you know, did so-and-so make any money today? And you kind of get addicted to like looking at that. And so what we said is a year and a half ago, we're like, every time we want to look at a report, pick up the phone. So it's okay if you look at the reports, but pick up the phone first and call someone. Even if it's someone on your team, but call someone. So that gets you talking a lot more, right? Because if you're checking your override report, it updates every 4 hours and every 2 hours on pay period close, right? If you're checking it that often, think how many phone calls you could make, how many lives you could get in. And so another thing that we've heard from these people is that they knew on their team who they were fighting for, but also too, they knew what each of those people were fighting for. And so we're going to talk a lot more about that today too, so that it isn't just about you, right? That when you say, gosh, I'm tired. I did a mixer last night, you know, and I got home at 1 o'clock in the morning because it was in Portland. I don't really want to do another mixer or another training, but it's not about me. That person said yes. Now, they didn't say yes to me. They said yes to their purpose, their future. But I said yes to helping them, right? And so there is a responsibility that we have as leaders, a responsibility to continue to help people. So the next story that I want to go to, I know it's going to jump on your notes a little bit, is Jason and Tori Cuevas. And I want to jump to their story because Tori is Katie's older sister. And they are the fastest to diamond in 10 months. So their story is a little bit more gut-wrenching. Tori had struggled with bulimia almost her entire life, to the point where she put herself in the hospital. And what that led to is almost an addiction of different things in their lives. The addiction of being bulimic and then seeking other things for comfort. Well, they watched their business. They owned their own business. They watched all of that completely fall apart. And so they had gotten to a point before Advocare where they weren't living with their parents, but their parents were paying for everything. So they were living in their home, but his parents were paying the mortgage. And do you want to come sit up here? Sure. I don't want to make you stand the whole time. Are you Andy? Aaron, sorry. So they didn't want to, they weren't really interested in the business because, again, they didn't want to admit a lot of the things that were going on in their lives. So they said when Katie first introduced them to the business, they actually saw that they were kind of like, no, we're not interested in what you're doing. It's weird. You're no longer partying with us.
She said they were their biggest no because they were party buddies.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it is. How many of you have had your friends go, you're kind of weird now. Like, the people that you hang out with are all positive, and they're always smiling, they're all skinny. I mean, you're weird. Yeah. Something's up with them. They're too happy, right? You know, and but they said that Katie and Josh didn't let Tori and Jason deter them from what their path was. That was just a no. And it got to the point where Tori actually shared that she'd gotten to the point where it was so bad I want to cry for her. It was so bad for their family that they had a life insurance policy. And she actually had contemplated committing suicide so that it would allow her family to take that money out on her life and that they could go on and live their lives. Because they were in such a hole, it was the only thing she could think of. Was like, well, maybe if somehow I die, my family can get my life insurance policy. And so she says, she goes, actually, because of that, she goes, I hate when people say, oh, I wish I had your Advocare journey. She's like, no one wishes that they had my life. But that is what has propelled her, is knowing that there's other people in her shoes. Because she said, if you looked at them, they lived in a gated community, they drove nice cars, they wore nice clothes. No one knew from the outside that their world was falling apart. I mean, literally, like thinking about actually taking your own life and leaving your children because you can't see another way out financially. And so what had happened is she got on product. Again, and it was primarily because she had just gotten out of the hospital, and she had said, I don't ever want to be back in the hospital again. I don't want to be that sick again. And she saw a healthy way with Advocare to be able to have the body that she wanted, the health that she wanted, and live that way. And so, is that Michael telling us we're okay?
Michael says that
can't see Allison.
It's hard for him to hear Allison.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. I knew that that's what you're getting updates on.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael. So she said that what drove her is that she said, I was going to share Advocare with every single person I knew. Every single person. And I can guarantee you, every person in that hotel, every worker had talked to Tori Cuevas.
I watched her do it too. I was in the gift shop, and she was hitting up the ladies that worked in the gift shop. And so I was like, I'm just going to hang back and watch for a little while. And she did approach them with the opportunity, and she spoke to them casually, like friends. There was no pressure, there was no sales. And in fact, one of the ladies that was working in the gift shop was saying, you know, a guy came in here earlier and gave me a spark, but he was so aggressive that I was not interested. So how you approach someone is so important. But what really stuck out to me with them is just, you know, her talking about, you know, you need to share why someone needs Advocare. If you're trying to sell a box of Spark, you're doing them a huge disservice, because what we do changes families' futures.
Allison, did you listen to some of her word choices, or how did, like, tell us more how she did it so casually? Like,
I knew you guys were going to ask.
We all know that, but it's more like, what are her...
Or was she asking questions mostly?
She was asking a lot of questions to dig deep and get to know who the women were, and she was talking about who Advocare was. And I think initially she had asked her, have you heard of Advocare? And I noticed her passing out business cards left and right with people and asking for their contact info, and I was fascinated by her. So I just wanted to take in all that I could, and that was one of the biggest things I got out of the training, was actually being able to sit back and watch these people in action that are having so much success.
Yeah, I actually did ask her. I went up and asked her. There's another training in that too. When you're there, you get to be around these people. And I went up to her and I said, Tori, I want to know what you're saying to people. So when someone says to you, you know, what do you do for a living? Like, what is your response to that? Because we've heard that we say, oh, we help people look better, feel better, perform better, or, you know, oh, have you ever heard of Advocare? And, you know, insert your story. And she said, well, so what do you mean? Like somebody who I've never met? And I said, well, yeah, somebody who you've never met, but also too, maybe those people you haven't talked to in a long time, and they say, what are you up to now? You know, what have you been doing lately? And she says, oh, it's the same answer no matter who I'm talking to, it's the same answer. And she says, she says, I change lives. Nothing else. I change lives. Well, if someone says that to you, what are you going to say? You're going to be like, you're not going to be like, oh, that's great. You know? No. Most people say, what? You change lives. How are you doing that? You know? And she says, I help people find financial freedom every day. Every day. I find people find financial freedom. Again, like, not great for you. Like, most people are, how are you doing? You know, they're wheels. That gets their, like, I want to know more about what this, and also too, it's in the delivery, right? She's not scared. She's not scared if they're going to ask more about the pay plan or who Advocare is. She knows who Advocare is. She knows what Advocare is doing for thousands of people, right? She's got all of that behind her. There is nothing in her that has fear. She said, because no fear is bigger than where she was, right? About ready to take her own life. There's nothing more scary. And so think about it. Whatever fear yours is, doesn't have to be, you don't have to be in that place. Like she said, I'd never wish that upon anybody. But if your fear, is it bigger than what your purpose is? Your purpose should be bigger than any fear you have, right? So that was hers, is that Tori said, no, my purpose is way bigger than any fear that I've had. Plus, I know who Advocare is. I know what we're doing, right? So it's in the delivery. I help people find financial freedom every day. Really? Well, how are you doing that? Have you heard of a company called Advocare? And she said, and they're in Texas, and still 9 times out of 10, no. Right? So we always say, is the market too saturated? She's in Texas, and there she's still getting no's, right? Our biggest state, and she's still getting no's. No, I haven't. That's when she shares her story. That's when she shares the stories of, for instance, we just helped somebody pay off $25,000 worth of debt in the last 6 months using Advocare Debt Buster system. What would that look like for you? Can you imagine paying off $25,000 in the next 6 months? That's what I help people do. And if you'd like to learn more, I'm having a mixer tonight at my house. I'd love for you to be in attendance there, because your future depends on it. That's how she's talking to people. Not a lot of people are saying no to this woman because they're like, I am coming. I don't know what I'm coming for, but I'm coming. They're not coming to hear about the 24-day challenge. They're not coming to hear about Spark. And she said, shame on you. If you're out there selling Spark, shame on you. And we're all like, that's what we're supposed to do. Right? Like, we're all like, even the diamonds are like, But she said you lead with the business opportunity. And then you share a Spark, absolutely. Because then you say, this is why we're able to make this kind of income, because we have such amazing products. People get phenomenal results. We've helped a girl on our team lose 79 pounds and become a different mom for her family. No one can ever take that story away from me. Right? That's happened on our team. So that's what she was saying too. Know the stories. Know the purposes that you're fighting for. And you know all of that. And so when you get all of that, you've got that ammunition when someone wants to shoot those bullets at you. Right? And like she said, I didn't care if people said no. That's okay. It's not who I'm fighting for right now then. I'm going to go find someone else that wants me to fight for him. And she might not have had a mixer on the calendar that night. But she did now. Yeah. Right? And so that's what they said. Every night was open. Every night was a mixer if it needed to be. And they adopted that too. That it wasn't about like, well, gosh, we've only got one person in the living room tonight. No, I've got one person who said, yes, they want me to fight for him. And I just thought, I'm like, I get so fired up about that because I'm like, you guys, that's how you get to diamond in 10 months. Right? Speaking with that kind of conviction. Talking to every single person you come across. We have a person on our team that just joined us, Elaine, and I don't know where she is right now, but she's on our team, and you guys, Ian met her when he was in the office to get fixed. Because he shares with everybody, and he shared what we're doing, and she said, I don't even know this guy, but I want him to help me. I'm coming to your house. And she came to a mixer, and then she came to a training, and she got to meet you guys, and she said, I want to be a part of that. And on her first win, she made $65. You know, we started counting the money for her. We keep counting the money for her, the money that she's making, the money that she's earning, what she's a part of, right? Now, I don't know how many champion packs Ian's given away, but that doesn't matter. He's not like, oh man, gosh, we've spent $20 on champion packs and I haven't got a yes yet. Her one yes paid for them and then some, and will continue to pay years down the road. Residual income, right? So what are you willing to invest in your business? We heard a lot about that. You want to talk about investing? And I'm kind of jumping on your, you're like, whoa. I'm like, I get fired up. Let's go. Let's talk to people. Like, we don't need to train anymore.
Let's see. Yes. So Danny had talked a lot about investing I'm modeling who Advocare is to other people, and am I giving them the standard of excellence that Advocare stands for? So kind of, he went back to, you know, if I want to be a diamond, am I dressing like a diamond? Am I acting like a diamond? What am I putting into my brain every day? You know, what are my activities? But what he said that kind of stuck out to me is, am I presenting my mixers and events in a way that accurately represents Advocare? So he was saying it's really important to invest in your business, and like, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but on Amazon there's an actual little fat blob model that you can buy. It's like 75 bucks, but it's an awesome prop to have at your mixers. And he said, you know, you need to buy the fat model on Amazon, you need to buy banners, you need to buy tablecloths, you need to buy signage, and he said stop asking your leader for those things, and you need to sow into your business. So I thought that was really good, because if your mentor was out of state, like Josh Weathers, I mean, how would you do those things?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And I thought it was good too, because he said, look, I'm not telling you to go in the hole.
yeah.
Not what we're telling you to do, but make little investments in your business. If you had bought any other business out there, you would be coming in with a boatload of money investing in that business for signage, for advertising, you name it. So what you actually have to invest in your Advocare business is very little. You know, your first check, maybe you use a little bit of that to buy the fat model, right? And then a month later, you buy a banner, right? And a month later, you buy a table for your booth, whatever, you know. But he also listed a couple things that are really inexpensive, and Allison and I both love this, is that what we're gonna do actually, because I got huge from this, you know, you guys, it's always been on my goal board for Ian and I to be in the Impact magazine, and we haven't gotten there yet. So it's still on the goal board, but he said, don't worry if your mentor is not in the Impact magazine. Put him in there. Put him in as an insert. I thought, that's ingenious. Like, what? How come I didn't think of, like, just print out, you know, 10 or 20 copies at Staples, you know, that are nice, and they look like they're just like, oh, and we put an insert in here because, like, that's the people that will be helping us, right? It doesn't have to be us, right? It can be your mentor that's silver, right? But that insert their story in there so they know who's, and they can read all those stories in the Impact magazine. The other thing that I liked that he said that was inexpensive was, have you guys seen those plastic, like, display, that you put like an 8x10 in? What are they called?
Like an acrylic.
Oh, acrylic, yeah. Yeah, and he said even cheaper on Amazon. He's like, they're expensive at Staples. He's like, go to Amazon and get like 5 for the cost of 1. But he said, use those, because one, they travel well, right? Use them at every mixer, but it put in there, not like product pages, put in their result photos, right? And have them placed around the house so that when people come over for a mixer, wherever they stand, they're like, oh, there's another result. Oh, she lost 25 pounds. Or a business story, right? So, and use those. And again, just for really inexpensive, so you don't have to go big in the hole. And again, I mean, you guys, I'm like, wow, we're diamond, we've never done any of that yet. So, yes, you can get there without doing that, but here are some really inexpensive ways to invest in your business. And some of the things like banners, yeah, they cost quite a bit of money. You know, he actually said, he goes, everybody should have one of those 8x8. Huge. Have you get the big 8x8 Advocare banners that you guys all like to stand in front of and take your pictures, right?
Yeah.
Right? Well, they're $800 a piece.
How much?
800, right? So we just got one. So, but you know what? The littler banners, right? And so, but what if, as you're growing your business, you started to invest like a diamond, right? That's what Mike and Janelle had always instilled in us. Like, you may think you can't afford it, but that's going to pay for itself and then some, because that's how it works. You invest, and you will reap the rewards of that investment, stepping out in faith. It's just like all of our advisor orders, you guys. We all make that big step in faith to get to advisor, right? It was scary, but we did it. We stepped in that faith. That's going to be your whole journey in Advocare, is taking one little step in faith out of your comfort zone where you go, the successful people are telling me that this is what I need to do. I'm not telling you to go buy an $800 banner, don't, right? But stepping out in faith when you get there because you've bought all of the other little stuff, right? And Wayne just like flat out said, he said, stop borrowing from people. We're like, all right, you won't ever borrow anything from Wayne. So, what I wanted to talk about too is that we're going to switch gears a little bit, is that to just lead off of what Danny and Diane were talking about. So they talked about the world-class leader. And they talked about attaching yourself to other people's visions. And that you want to have a definitive purpose and a definitive plan of action. How many of you have a mixer on the calendar for this coming week? Good.
We did.
No, I got it.
Jerry, we do now.
I gotta call it but I call it
You should. You should. Okay? Because if you want to be building this business, that is one of the pieces of the puzzle for a success system. Did you guys know that a successful mixer is 3 to 5 people? Okay? A lot of times we think like that we have to have 10 or 20 people in the room to have a successful mixer. No. Now, if I'm driving up to Bellingham for a mixer, yeah, that's how many I want to be able to be driving up there for. But if you're having a mixer, 3 to 5 people is a successful mixer. What if you had 2 of those a week? And you had, that's what, 6 to 10 people a week that you're helping. This is a business about gathering. We've always talked about gathering, making that snowball. It's one person bringing another person, bringing another person, bringing another person. Who do you know? And that's what Danny and Diane talked a lot about. We are in a gathering business. Build a team that people want to be a part of. Build a team that people want to gather. They want to bring their friends to be a part of that. And this was good. He said, if your people aren't doing as well as you, or as good as you, or however you want to put that, it's because of you. Right? And he says it's because you're not giving enough of you. So if you want people on your team to do better, give them more of you. Now again, that's a give and take, right? You're only going to get more of me if you give me more of you, right? We're the 2-to-1, stepping 2-to-1, right? Because you can't keep giving yourself to someone who's not giving to, right? And that's where that fine line occurs, that we all go, well, I guess this person doesn't want it as much as I do. That's okay. Don't hang out there. I wouldn't sign up for that class, right?
I like how he says, if you're not willing to grow, you will probably go. I thought that was good.
That's good. Just training in that. So gather more leaders. Gather your leaders more. So something that you'll see us all doing as leaders is more incentives. But more incentives that are like a women's leadership retreat. The Mariners baseball game, right? Different, all revolving around actually gathering and being a part of the team, because he said that's where you build the leaders. You guys, my vision is for this training, for you to go out and leave here, and then our next training that we have every 2 weeks, for you to bring 2 more with you, right? We can hold a lot of people here. Yeah, we'll be crammed, but don't just leave here and go, wow, I'm filled up. Leave here and go, my team needs to see this. My team needs to hear this. They need to be a part of this snowball, this team that I'm building. And he said, why do your checks grow? Your checks grow because of events. Getting people to events, mixers, big events, trainings. The more people you have at events, the bigger your check will be. Because again, if you go back to Josh and Katie's story, Tori and Jason, It wasn't about getting diamond. It wasn't about getting emerald. It was about getting as many people as they possibly could to events so they could see what they saw. And I liked what did Christy McGuyan say, is that once somebody's seen something, they can't unsee it. I was like, that's good, right? So like everything that you guys have seen in Advocare, you'll never be able to unsee. But your friend hasn't seen that. And so sometimes when we're like, just come, like, you know, right? And you're frustrated because they just won't come. Just remember, they haven't seen what you've seen, but you need to be speaking to them. You need to be speaking to them with strength. Be like Josh and Katie. Drive your car and go pick them up. You're coming with me. You're broke. You need this, right? What else are you going to do? Oh, well, if you say no, it didn't cost you any money. The only time it cost you is from the time you were going to spend watching American Idol or the new one, The Voice or whatever. I don't even, we didn't have cables, I don't know. I just know there's a girl in Advocare that's on The Voice.
Oh, really?
Danielle Bradbury. Yeah. Let's see. I got me off guard.
They can't unsee it.
Yes, Allison, save me.
Not sure.
I don't know, you were just
Speak to
going.
people with strength, you said.
Yes, and courage. Courage.
Yes, and I wanted to let you guys know, you'll want to go to advocaretraining.com because he actually has a courage slideshow, PowerPoint.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of this.
So a lot of this training is going to be on the PowerPoint. He said, always remember you're being prepared for a world stage. Right? People are watching though. People are always watching. I was in Target the other day and I was in the middle of like a 2-year-old and a 9-month-old meltdown. Any of you know what that's like? You're like, oh, Lord, either give me serenity now or I'm going to beat these children. And somebody walked up, it was like smack dab in that where you have that choice. Like I could either yell at them or I can just be calm and, you know, you're okay, you're fine, we're going to be okay, we're going to get through this. No, you can't have that toy. You know, somebody, are you Allison Keber? I've seen you speaking at events. Oh my gosh. Your story has impacted me so much. My kids are still screaming and melting down, right? But that's what it means. So when we're preparing for a world stage, we have to remember that if we're going to be successful in Advocare, we are Advocare, right? That we are representing that at all times. So they talked a lot about who are you being in person, but more importantly, who are you being in private? Who are you being in between your 4 walls? Are you being the parent that would want to model after you? Are you being the wife? Are you being the husband that you say you're being? Right? Because that will all show through. And we talked a lot about, I'm just getting around on you, I'm so sorry. Like wherever my heart's going. Talking a lot about between your 4 walls. Your business will never grow more than what's currently happening between your 4 walls. And this might be tough for some of you, but if your business isn't growing, that's where you have to look at first. What does my marriage look like? What do my children's lives look like? Are we growing? It doesn't have to be perfect because nobody's perfect. But are we in unison? Doesn't mean that you both have to be doing Advocare. But are we in unison about what Advocare is going to be? What going out and helping other people? And it's so powerful because we talked a lot about, have you guys read the book Love and Respect? Has anybody ever read that? Because there's a book written by Dr. Emerson called Love and Respect. Go on Amazon and get it, like now, right? Take a break, get it now. No. Get that book, you guys. because this is something else that we talked a lot about at there, and we're not going to go crazy into depth about this, but when I said, how was the trip, and I came back and I said, I'm even more in love with my husband, if any of you like look at us and think like, how's that possible? I mean, I just came home and I was like, I respect you so much. I respect the man that you are. And I asked him, I said, what means more to you, if I tell you I love you or I respect you? And he was like, I don't know, let's try it on for size. Because, you know, to me, as women, we want to hear like, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Our men want to hear, I respect you. Right? That means more to them than hearing, I love you. And so ladies, think about that. Like, are you telling your man how much you respect him? Are you showing him how much you respect him? And not all of you have a man right now, but, you know, I don't want to, like, single you out.
I tried not to single you out. Look at right
But this will come in handy. But, and then vice versa. Men, you may be showing your wife that you respect her, but are you telling her and showing her how much you love her? It's so important because, again, if we are on a world stage and we're going out and we're trying to change other people's lives, but our own lives are in chaos because we're fighting over money. How many of us have fought over money? Right? It's the number one thing people fight over in relationships is money. And we have a way to help that, right? So think about that. Think about how many families their lives can be changed because they no longer have to fight about finances, right? And so it matters about what's going on in your own home. And so what I encourage you guys to do is that, look, if your business isn't growing, something that Ian and we learned the hard way, but to say to ourselves, okay, if our business isn't going in the direction that we want it to go in, what do I need to do? What do I need to do differently? What do I need to start taking responsibility for? Where do I need to grow? You guys, and that wasn't easy for me because I was actually at a place at one point where I was like, I'm good. I don't need to grow. Like, I'm reading books. My marriage is good. That's where I needed to grow. Like, hello, a little humble pie would be nice for you, right? A little gratitude. So there were some things that we think like, gosh, I'm totally good. I don't know that I need to grow anywhere. That might be the area that you need to grow in. There's always room for growth. And so I promise you, the one thing that they shared with us at this training is that the bottom line is that when things start growing in your home and the things between those four walls start working in unison and they get back together, guess what? You walk outside your door as one, but separately, in unison, sharing the power of Advocare, the power of what you can help other people do, and things start propelling for your business because of what is starting to happen inside you.
This stuck out to me a lot too. It seems like they did go over a lot as far as relationships and Advocare. And so some of the things that I got from it that were really helpful for me is, are you complimenting each other and helping each other win? I know Nate DeTracy was saying that, you know, come along with me, together we can make this even stronger. Our spouses 100% looks different than our 100% does, so we always need to be cognizant of that. He said, or somebody else said, every relationship has its wow person and its how person. So that's kind of interesting to think about, which one are you? And only because of the how person can the wows come to pass.
And so you want to explain that a little bit more, what a wow person looks like? Okay. So it was Bob and Jenny that were talking about this. And so if you think about the wow person is someone who says, they're like the dreamer, right? The person who is like, I don't know how we're going to do it, but let's just go. Like, let's do this. This is exciting. You know, we're going to go change some lives. And they're the, like, you know, let's just get it done. I don't know how we're going to do it. We're going to get there. We're going to go to Disneyland. You know, I'm really excited. And people are like, wow, I'm attracted to that. And then there's the how person who says, okay, but how are we going to get to Disneyland? We're broke. Like, we gotta figure out, I believe we're gonna get to Disneyland, but how are we gonna get there? You know, so in each relationship, there's the someone, and I hate to admit it, because I thought I was the wow person, I'm pretty sure my husband is, that just is like, you know, I don't know, we're gonna be earning $50,000 a month by the end of this year, and I'm like, how? Just show me how, like I need to see how. And so, but like Allison was saying, you can't have two wows together. And at first when they were teaching us this, I'm like, oh, we're two wows. We totally are. They're like, no, it's not possible to go forward. There has to be a wow and there has to be a how. Right? You guys are smiling. I already know what one says.
Are you the wow or the how?
I'm probably the how.
The how? That's me too.
So, but it's good, like Allison was saying, the wow needs the how to get there. And Jenny used her and Bob as an example. A lot of us know who Jenny Donnelly is. She's very wow, right? She's very dream-oriented. She doesn't know, like, I don't know how we're going to get this house, but we're going to be in it. I don't know if it's 10 years from now, I don't know if it's 20, but I see the house, we will be in that house. And usually if Jenny has dreamt it, like, she gets it. And Bob, it's the reason why she does is because Bob's like, well, here's how. We're going to do this. We're going to have mixers. We're going to have big events. We're going to have ladies' night. These are the hows that are going to make that happen.
So what if you're a single person doing Advocare?
Yeah.
And you don't have how and wow, or like in that type of relationship?
Yeah.
Do they talk about that?
Lean on your team, right? So in your team, who do you have that are hows? Who do you have that are wows? You know, it kind of goes back to your strengths finders and knowing your strengths, but also too knowing your teams, right? So if I have somebody on my team that's really strategic, I need that.
Did you guys
I'm not strategic at all. Like, I'm all about like feelings and loving people and like, I just want to be around people. But like the 90-day plan, like, I don't know. I'm sure we'll do it. I'm sure we'll have a 90-day plan. Like, someone will come up with it, right? So, and then I don't look at that as I don't like focus on like, wow, I'm really bad at being strategic. I'm so bad at that. That's not my strength. That's okay. Here's my strengths. Here's what I'm good at. I'm good at when people walk in the door that I want to love on them, that I make them feel welcome, right? That's actually my top strength. And own that. That's why it's really important. If you guys have, all of you taken StrengthsFinder? Okay, so StrengthsFinder 2.0, know your strengths, but also too, Ian and I, what we're starting to do is we're starting to give StrengthsFinder 2.0 to anybody who signs up as advisor frontline with us as their first gift.
I don't know if you guys knew this too, but before you had to actually purchase the book separately, like so Jeff and I had to get our own books, but now you can purchase like the code by itself.
Online, yeah.
Online.
It still costs us about the same.
It still costs about the same. But also with your team, there's a new function on there where you can enter in your team's strengths and see how they work together.
Yeah.
Oh,
which is really cool.
Can you do that if you've already purchased it in the past?
I think so. I
So
just found
one
out
would
about
give
it.
you both, or do we have to like get the code in the back of our book? So do we each?
It's per one test. So you have to buy 2 books.
Oh,
And it's about $12, I think, on Amazon.
Another code. Would you buy another book, or can you buy just?
You can buy just the code.
Okay.
So I wanted to mention that though, because if you do, because again, it's about the same price to buy another book. It's the 2.0 one and strength-based leadership is another book that has that same code in it. So it's a different book. So you, like for a couple, you can get 2 books for yeah. So you have 2 books on your library or in your library now. So you can still get both the test, but now
That's
you can
good.
get books.
That's good. You're right. Yep. That is good. So StrengthsFinder 2.0 and strengths-based leadership. Who's the author? John Roth, is it? Tom Roth. Tom Roth. R-A-T-H. But yeah, so knowing your strengths. Okay, so let's go. Sorry, where were you, Allison?
Oh, I had a couple more things that I wanted to share about the relationships. One really important one is respecting your spouse when you're sharing your story.
Good.
Yeah, a lot of people, you know, sometimes you'll hear people sharing about their husband and they'll talk about, you know, we couldn't do this and we haven't been on a vacation for ever, you know, and kind of talking down like that, but they were saying that you should really compliment your husband and talk about what a hard worker he is for your family, you know, and talk him up instead of talking him down. So, and vice versa. So I thought that was really important. Also, they said speaking to the king or the queen in them and not the fool. I like that. And the key to motivating your spouse is by meeting their deepest need. So that was good.
Yeah, and that comes back down to, have you guys taken the love language test? I think that's actually free online.
The book's amazing.
5 love languages.
The 5 love languages. But you can take the test for free online. Oh, yeah, Jen?
What did you say, Allison, about after king and queen? You said another sentence.
Oh, speak to the king or queen in them and not the fool. There was something right.
Motivate your spouse.
Motivating your spouse is through meeting their deepest needs. So.
Right. And I think that's good, because if you take the 5 love languages test, so often what we do is we speak to our significant others in our love language. So, for instance, my number 1 is personal touch. I love to be touched. You guys all know that I'm a hugger. Like, that's my love language. That's how I show love. That's how I like to receive love. My husband is words, right? So I can hug him all day, all night, and he's like, but if I tell him, like, you are a king, I absolutely love you, you're my everything, you're so amazing what you do for this family, the way you fight, if I speak to that, he's like, right? So knowing that can, again, back to the 4 walls, right? What if we started speaking to the people in our life through their love languages and not through ours, right? I was talking to a couple at the training, and that was all that was really going on in their 4 walls, is that they were just each speaking their own, when they're like, gosh, your business is kind of stagnant, and it was not because there was strife in their house, it's just that, like, for instance, his was acts of service. So he's, like, constantly cleaning the house, doing the dishes, and, you know, thinking that that's how she receives love. And her number 1 is quality time. So, interesting enough, every time he's doing the dishes, every time he's doing all these things, she's actually getting angry, going, I just want you to spend time with me, right? But he's like, I thought I was showing you I loved you, like, because that's his love language. So you need to speak each other's, not your own. How things would just open up for so many marriages and relationships, and just even with your kids. You can take the love language test, and you can know theirs, right? Mason's is touch. His is totally touch. So, and that, like I said, I think that one's free online, you guys. Allison?
Oh, that was all I had on relationships.
Okay, cool. All right, so I want to talk a little bit more about courage. Danny, although you guys are going to see slides on this one, you know, obviously being prepared for the world stage, understanding that not a single one of us, not a single person on this earth was placed here to be small. And I want to pause for a second, because I think a lot of times, you know, we look at people or even ourselves and we're like, I'm not meant for that, right? Those are words of death that you're speaking over each other. And again, this is my belief. I'm not trying to put this on any of you, but my belief is that God's sitting up there going, wow, I created you for so much more. What an insult. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm not okay with insulting my God. To me, that just isn't right. And so, you know, but even if it's even if you don't see it as God, your children, your significant other. Like, you know, I mean, how many times do we look in the mirror at ourselves and we're like, right? I was telling somebody, I'm like, you know what, you guys? I look in the mirror and I'm like, hey, she's pretty cute. You know, I'm pretty good with her. Like, sure, she could be maybe a little bit skinnier. She could be a little more toner. But you know what? She's beautiful. And how many of us need to get to that place, right? Because guess what? I bet I'm about 10 times prettier than, I guess, maybe what I would be if I didn't think that, to the outside world, right? So there's people that are like, wow, she's really pretty, only because I think that I am, right? I don't have other people going, oh, her nose is a little bit too pointy, or, you know, gosh, she's got really big hips, or whatever, because I'm not thinking that. So they're not looking at me thinking that, right? So just have the courage to look at yourself and go, I'm not small. I was not created to be small. And that your mindset, and I just love this, because it's like, okay, whenever you talk about children with me, like that's when I get it, right? And he said, whatever mindset you're in is the mindset that you're breeding in your children. So here's a good one, Johnny. So whatever you said to yourself in the mirror this morning, is it okay for your daughter to say that to herself? And if it's not, why would it ever be okay for you to say it to yourself? I know that if my daughter was to look in the mirror and she was to criticize herself, it would kill me. Because she's the most beautiful thing that I've ever seen. That's what God's saying too, right? So having that mindset. And again, that's that champion mindset. Like I always go back to like Ian's constantly with our kids, like, I'm a champion, you know, and he wants them to scream it back, because that's the mindset he wants them to have. Have a champion mindset, right? It's not egotistical. I'm a champion. I am. My parents told me so.
And he says we need to have visions so our kids can have visions.
Yeah, good. Yeah, and so going back to the vision boards, if you are not sharing your visions with the people around you, especially your children, what are you allowing them to vision? Right? And like they talked a little bit about this, like just ask your kids what their dreams are.
I make really cute vision boards.
Yeah. How many of us forget to just say, like, I mean, it's amazing what comes out of their heads. Like, all right, I don't know how we're gonna do that or how that's gonna be possible, but we'll get there. Let's put that on your vision board. He said, never cut corners. You cannot run from conflict. Always seek to understand, and always be the first one to apologize. This goes as far as your relationships in your four walls to the relationships in your business. Even if someone hurt you, they cut you down, whatever, be the first to apologize. Forgiveness is so amazing. It's the best gift you can give. You must stand for what's right, and you must be willing to stand out to speak truth and love. And always trust others. When you trust others, you become trustworthy. I love that.
He said those who mistrust usually can't be trusted.
And always have a serving mindset. A true leader serves. We already talked about this, but what are you willing to do when no one is looking? Are you someone who picks up the trash that you see as you're walking to the park? No one's watching. You didn't throw the trash down. But that's not what it's about. It's about doing what's right. That trash shouldn't be on the ground. Right? I mean, that was just something that came. And honor. Talked a little bit about honor. Make sure that you honor your word and that you're a person of honor. And then last but not least, he talked about the scoreboard. And the scoreboard is this. At the end of each day, you have a scoreboard and you ask yourself, am I leading? Who am I leading? Remember, sometimes we're trying to lead ourselves. What are the measurable results of my leadership today? decision. So.
We have that leadership thing that might
You want to do leadership is? Yeah.
do that?
Yep, you do that one. Just talk a little bit louder so I can hear you. Does everybody have a pen? Yep, and there's pens there, and then he's got them if anybody needs a pen. Does anybody need to have a bathroom break really quick? I know they're like, we're about halfway. Here, I've got it, I'll give you a shirt. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Upstairs, yep. Anybody else?
Do you want me to pass this up for you?
Oh, sure. Sorry, you're late. I'll have some get a little bit of pink on them. Are you okay with that? Yeah. I mean, pink is the new salmon, right?
Oh, I've got this for you.
Oh,
Thank you, Jerry.
Anybody else need notebooks? Everybody's got their notes? How are we doing on spark? We need more spark? Good? Okay. You guys, this bathroom is not our only bathroom in the house, just so you know. There is one if you just go up the stairs, and it's like it's the second door on the right. So you're more than welcome to use that bathroom too.
Anybody else not get the leadership is?
I need one.
Oh.
Allison, Michael suggested that if you're gonna maybe stand closer.
Hi, Michael. Here I am.
Push them that way.
Okay.
It'll just be louder.
Yeah. Thank you.
He said I'm loving this, by the way.
Oh, good.
Good. I bet you're gonna come home. He's gonna tell you how much he loves you. Yeah. How much you respect him.
I hope he didn't hear that. Give away.
I've never had these so cold.
Yeah, I think I have, but they're like, they must have lots of sugar.
Honey.
Yeah, lots of love.
They're very good. I personally made them. No. You'll want more. Wait. Are they going to help you win the Emerald Cup?
Probably not.
Well, then you shouldn't have them.
No.
Is that the one?
I'm not doing the Emerald
Which one are you doing? I guess one I can think of.
I know, right? Well, there's two of them that my coach is gonna do, and so we're just deciding on times. But there's one in October, which is my birthday month, so I want to do that one.
I'm gonna be on the front row.
Yeah. We're gonna come.
We're gonna come.
Yeah, we're all coming. Now I don't want to.
I'll lead them for you.
Okay.
I'm just trying to hold you accountable, because I know you want to win. You're a winner.
Which competition?
Here, do you want me to help you? The one in October, send me the name of it.
No. Is it, what's that?
Impact Magazine, what section is that under? Is it under like products?
Which one?
The Impact Magazine kit?
Sales.
Sales.
This one's really good.
Nice to meet you.
Angie Garner, who she used to train people for competition. And
The notes on success. So go to training group, let's go on there and look at the products like balance.
I mean, I was trying to find it on my drive. One of these things, the Wayne Johnson lines of dating. I've been
areas that describe leadership. And it's really simple, but it's really good. So, number 1, leadership is people. This business is about building relationships, building dreams, and getting into each other's lives. Think about what you can do to pour into your team, for example. Buying books and CDs are a really good thing to do for your team. There's a great suggestion of a list that I have posted from Stephen Whitwell on our team page, and I can put it on Focus Forward actually. But he's our director of sales support at Advocare, and he's got a great list of books out.
And we just put the newsletter will go out today, and it's got top 5 recommendations for this month too.
Cool. Another thing that you can do is have a vision board training night, and I know Ian and Allison just did one, and I missed that one, but I'm going to do one at my house pretty soon, if anybody wants to come to my house and do one, but that's a great thing.
Yes, please, because I've been wanting to do it, and I just keep not doing it.
It'll be fun, and then at the end of the night, everyone shares like what their visions are for the future and their goals and dreams. That was my tummy, sorry. Oh gosh. So number 2 is leadership is being consistent and stable. Your team will do what you do. If you only show up when things are convenient, that's what your team will do also. If you follow up with your team, that's what your team will do too. They'll follow up with your customers. If you're shooting for 3K Club and recruiting, that's what your team will do. So everything you do, you're modeling to your team.
I love that. The being consistent too is that it's so important, because what happens in this business is that again we'll have some good momentum, and we'll kind of try to ride that momentum out, but that we're not being consistent then, right? You know, and I think back again about Katie and Josh and Jason and Tori. They were consistent. Like the message that they were speaking day in and day out was consistent, because the things that they were doing day in and day out were consistent. That DMO, that daily method of operations, not like, well, I've got some time today, so I'm going to do this, right? No, being consistent every day, doing something consistently.
And the SODAC statement that Allison's going to train on, that's going to be something that'll be good to be consistent with as well. Leadership is walking humbly. Acknowledge when you don't know something. When you can put your ego and your pride aside, your business will go to new levels. If I go too fast, or if you guys have any questions, let me know, okay?
Can you say that one again?
Which one, number 3?
Yes.
Leadership is walking humbly, acknowledging when you don't know something. And when you can put your ego and pride aside, your business will go to new levels. Something I was going to add to that I have heard in training is perfection is intimidating to people. So if you try to be perfect all the time, people are probably not going to be attracted to that, because you're trying to be something that nobody is and nobody can ever be. Right. It's good to be transparent.
Yeah, and that's what, actually Tori and Jason talked a lot about that, about being transparent, that the more transparent that you can get with people is more freeing, but it's not just freeing for you, it's freeing for others, right? And we're in a business of bringing freedom to other people, and so that transparency is so important. And especially as you grow up the leadership ladder, to continue to have that transparency, to continue to let yourself be fallible, right, is so important. And also to share. Like for me, I think it's really important that all of you, especially you guys brand new, when I first started 3.5 years ago, if I was like this, nothing would have came out of my mouth. Like that's how terrified I was to stand up in front of people and to speak, right? But I've grown and I've continued to step out. I mean, I can honestly say I think Allison was in the same exact place when she started, but because she's continued to step out and step out and step out. And you guys now, like, Janelle asked me to speak at the ladies' night, and she asked me to be the open for the first 30 minutes. You guys, I'm so excited. I was like, oh my God, I almost fell over with excitement when she asked me the other day. And before I would have fallen over going, no, I'll die, like, That's not possible, but it's been a journey of growth. But I have to continue to share that with you guys because I think you see now, like, oh, she's just like so good at talking in front of people. Like, I could never do that. Because I remember that's what I thought, like, I could never do what Jenny Donnelly does. Guys, 3.5 years now, I'm doing what Jenny Donnelly did when I saw her, right? And so it's like that same thing that you can do, because you will start to perfect some things, but there's going to be, like Allison said, is continue to be transparent about how the journey has looked as well. I think that's important.
And like she had said too, was how many people are living behind the facade? You know, I think there's so many people out there that, you know, they do live in the gated community and have the nice cars and this and that, but it's so important to be transparent. I think that's made all the difference in their business because people know that they can be transparent too.
And also too, just accepting that your transparency is part of your journey, right? I mean, I can think, Ian and I were talking about it this morning, and he was like, oh, there's training in that. That's good. You should train on that. And I, of course, haven't. But we were talking, and I said, you know, it's interesting in our journey, like, we've not only lived with my parents, but we've actually, like, we've lived in our friends' basement along this journey. With our brand new newborn, lived in their basement. Ice cold, you know, not, I mean, like, finished, but not really, you know. Lived in their basement, and that was during this journey. I mean, we were making $6,000 a month, and we were doing that. It was in a transition phase of getting out of my parents' home that we did that for 2 months, and going. But you know what? Like, we looked at that and saying this is just part of the journey, and we continued to be happy with each other. We continued to speak life into each other and believe that this was just temporary, right? And that how freeing is it. Can I share your story of what happened today?
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So, first off, this is Aaron. I accidentally called him Andy, but Aaron. Aaron today had a dead battery.
2 dead batteries.
Okay, 2. So, worse than even having 1 dead battery. And he reached out to Ian, and I think Ian said, oh, okay, yeah, you can catch it online, but if there's any way that you can get here, someone you can catch a ride with.
You said no excuses.
No excuses, right? And what was great is what Ian was so excited about is the next text he got was, I'm on my way. Okay? And what the training that we saw in that is that there's sometimes where we're on the journey and things happen to us, and we have 2 choices. We can go, that's embarrassing. I don't want anybody to know that I had a dead battery, so I'm just not gonna go.
Well, you're gonna have to jump me when I leave, probably.
Yeah.
Jerry? Allison's like, where are the jumping cables?
One's red, one's black, but it's not embarrassing to tell the girl who, like, totally fries your car. Has to buy you a new car. But like, again, you can have 2 choices. You can go, this is really embarrassing. I'm not gonna go, and I'm just gonna, you know, stay here, and, you know, but the other side is, or you can figure it out. You can go, you know what? It's so what? It's a dead battery. Who hasn't had a dead battery? I'm just using that as an example because so many of us try to make things so much bigger in our heads of like what's going on in our personal life to hold us back from something that what they talked about at this training is, look, every event is a possibility that you can catch something that will propel your business to the forever, right? And so what if there's one simple thing that you catch today that will propel your business to the forever? And you can look back and say, I could have used the excuse that I had a dead battery, that they would have had to jump me and everybody would have seen them jumping my car, and so I chose to stay home instead. Versus, no, I got there, and so guess what? Now every time he talks to his team about an event, guess what he has to use? No excuses. Look, I didn't have an operating vehicle, but I figured out how to get there. I made it work. I made the vehicle get me from point A to point B. I don't want to hear about your excuse. Right? Because his forever is more important than whatever that temporary embarrassment or whatever it be. And I was thinking about that in the basement and going like, living in a basement when you're making $6,000 a month and isn't something that you like want to, you know, exactly shout out there. But the fact of the matter is that that's where we were. But it's not who we were, right? It didn't define us. It didn't stop us from going forward. Embracing the journey and being transparent with those things, and thank you for allowing me to use that. And all of us have had a dead battery before, so we think you're a champion for sitting here. But embracing that and going, this is part of my journey because this is going to help somebody else. Think of all of the lives that Aaron will help now because he didn't use that one excuse. And who was he helping had he made that excuse? Right? You know, Amanda had the opportunity to be at the parade with her family today. But it wasn't about that. It wasn't about the temporary. It was about the forever. Okay? Remember that when you're inviting people to come to these events. It's not about the temporary. Tori said we missed our child's second birthday. Success School fell on his birthday. And she said, but we didn't use that as an excuse. We went to Success School and we told the grandparents, you're not allowed to talk about birthdays. His birthday's Monday this year. Right? And that's what they said. So many times we get wrapped up in the trivial. Like, he won't remember that you weren't there on the actual day of his birth, celebrating his 2-year birthday. No, what he's going to remember is that forever he had his mommy and daddy home, they had financial freedom, and they were changing people's lives. Sorry. I get fired up because I think so many times we try to make these things like so big, and so these excuses become like ridiculous really when we break it down and think of it. Right? How many of us go, well, it's so-and-so's birthday. Like, if that was your job, would you call in and say, it's my son's birthday? I can't come to work today. I don't know about you guys, but my job would have been like, if you want to take a vacation day for that, go ahead, but you know, you're not getting paid, right? We don't call into work. Why would you call into your future and say that? No excuses. You've got to get to these things. You've got to be a part of it so that you can have the forever. I think about like, I'm like that two-year-old birthday that they missed, like, he's like, birthday, schmirthday, I go to Disneyland whenever I want now. Shoot, every day's a birthday. We'll just tell him at Disneyland it's my birthday, right? You know what I mean? Like, so just getting out of that mindset of excuses. We talk about no excuses all the time, but so many times we allow our purpose to be our excuse. We're all guilty of it. I am too. I can't tell you how many times I looked at Ian and I was like, I can't leave the kids. Like, I was not here last night. You know, I don't know if I want to leave them again. You know, and I just really want to have balance. It's not about balance right now. It's about telling the kids, you know what, mommy's got to go do this so that I can get you that. That's why the vision boards come in really handy for the kids. Because then you're like, you want to go to Disneyland? Guess what? Mommy's going to go to a mixer every night for the next 90 days.
That's what we did, actually. So with Emerald, we actually had a big picture of Disneyland on the board, Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. And they knew that's what we were fighting for. So every mixer we did, every call, they're like, are you guys Emerald yet? Oh.
Stop asking.
It was so cool, though, because the night that we were working on pinning Emerald, they both prayed for us at nighttime, at bedtime. Oh my goodness. And then in the morning, that's like the first thing they said. They said, did you do it? Did you pin Emerald? And I'm going to cry. But like, my older son was like, Mom, I am so proud of you and Dad. And it was so cool to hear our 9-year-old say that.
Yeah.
So
it's good.
Really cool.
It's good stuff. And it's, you know, it's, you think about what we're teaching them, right, too. Are you teaching them to be champions who fight? Or are you teaching them to make excuses? What, did you just break your phone?
No, I've been broken, we're okay.
My phone's already broken.
But so, you know, and again, that goes back to the mindset and what we're teaching. We teach through our actions. And so many times, like I said, we get wrapped up in the like, well, I need to be here for this. Well, do you want to be here for this, or do you want to be here for all of this? You know, and ask yourself that every time. Because I'd be willing to bet that Aiden and Lucas were like, no, go to a mixer.
Yes.
Like, we're going to Disneyland. You get out the door. The students, they knew, like, the more mixers you do, the more calls you do, the faster we get to Disneyland, right? And speaking that, we spoke that to the kids about Great Wolf Lodge. And any time that they had an issue, like, well, Mommy, you were gone last night. Great Wolf Lodge. Right? And they're like, okay, bye! So it's amazing. What does Jenny say? You don't lack, our kids don't lack motivation, they lack incentive. Right? What's their incentive? And it's the same thing with us. What's our incentive? We're going to talk about that in the soda here in a minute.
So number 4 is leadership is above reproach. Reproach in the dictionary is the expression of disapproval or disappointment. We act in accordance to what we want duplicated, so everything you do and say to your team matters. You want to build people up, not tear them down, and always see the best in people.
Would you repeat the definition again?
Yes, it's the expression of disapproval or disappointment. And like Allison was saying earlier, oftentimes if things aren't going the way that we want them to go, it's natural for us to look around and say, well, why isn't this person doing this? You know, I told them that this would be the way to reach their goals. Why isn't this person doing this? But you have to look inside and look in the mirror and say, what am I doing? What can I be doing different?
How can I be better?
How can I be better?
Not how can they be better.
Mm-hmm.
How can I be better?
Exactly. Number 5, leadership is encouragement. And you want to be specific with people on that, not just, hey, you're awesome. You know, be really specific. Tell them their story really impacted you. Maybe they did a great job on a 3-way call or going through the 24-day challenge like during the mixer. But the more specific, the better. You just want to keep reinforcing and telling people what they do right, and that's going to build their confidence and help to grow them as a leader. Leadership is honoring your word. Let me know if I'm too fast, too. So honoring your word, it's having integrity and doing what you said when you said it. If you don't, you want to clean it up, make a new promise, and keep that promise.
Can you hit it on the having integrity and then what?
So leadership is honoring your word, it's having integrity, doing what you said when you said it.
Can I say something on that? What you just said is, there's this thing that I say to myself about excuses, and really it always comes down to you can either honor your word or you can honor your excuses.
It's good. Honor your word or honor your excuses.
I always think about that. Like every morning when I wake up for the gym, I have like 5 different excuses in my mind. Like every time, I'm just like, just go. You know. So anyway, I always say that little saying in my head.
I like
good.
that.
That's good.
One thing that they said that I think is really funny is people are a mystery. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, continue to love people and your integrity will attract.
Here, I wrote, people are a mystery, so stop complaining about them.
Yeah. Leadership is being responsible, is number 7. Be cause in the matter of your life.
Being responsible is not putting the blame on other people or things, which I kind of touched on earlier, which is naturally what many of us will start to gravitate towards when things aren't going the way you want.
Because in the middle of your life?
With change.
Because, C-A-U-S.
Be the cause of the change of your life.
Leadership is listening. You want to do 70% listening and 30% talking. I remember after we went to our first success school, that's where I caught my vision. And it was a couple months after we had signed up, so I was really new. And Jeff and I got on the airplane, and we had this poor girl in the window seat, and the whole flight home from Dallas to Seattle, we just fire hosed her with Advocare. And I think about it now, and it's so embarrassing. Like, we gave her our contact info, and we're like, hey, call us, okay? You know, can we get your contact info? And she wrote something down, and I don't even think that it worked.
Yeah.
But it was so embarrassing when I think of it now. We were so excited, and we just wanted to share everything about Advocare. So, you want to listen 70% of the time, 30% talking. And I love that she said, hearing is for sounds, listening is intentional.
God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason.
Yeah.
So hearing is with the sound, and what was the last part?
Listening is intentional. Leadership is being committed, but not attached. Commit to the outcome, not the small details that trip you up on the way. Oh, that's okay. Leadership is being committed, but not attached. Commit to the outcome, and not focusing on the small details that trip you up on the way. Kind of like what we were just talking about.
Yeah. Or for instance, I remember talking to Jeff and Lindy Haskins, and they had said like their first mixer was like 3.5 hours. They went like through every product, and, you know. Yeah. But you know, they're 3-star gold. They're almost ruby, and it's like, they just look back at that and they're like, we just laugh, right? You can either stay there and get hung up on those little minute details, or something Mike and Janelle taught us to say whenever we had something go wrong, or you know, just like, yeah, so what? But road to diamond.
Yep.
Road to diamond. So like, you know, you walk away from a mixer and you're like, I committed every mixer crime possible at that mixer. Like, I didn't talk about the 24-day challenge. I didn't tell them there was an eating plan. I didn't really talk about the business. Whatever things happen wrong, you just walk away and you go, road to diamond. Road to diamond. It's all going to happen because it's in the journey that we learn, right? So that's maybe something that you can adopt too, and it helps you to laugh. You're like, it's just road to diamond, part of the journey. Or like they like to say, or like Jenny likes to say, it's great. It's great. That's Jenny's favorite one. It's great. You threw up on the first, and we did. We had a girl on my very first person I got on product, she called me the first day product, and she was throwing up all day. And I was like, I told you I couldn't do this. That's it. Like, I'm making my friends sick. I can't believe we're involved in this. And Ian was like, whoa. You know, like, let's see if there's something else. And sure enough, like, she drank 2 bottles of wine the night before.
Oh.
She's an advisor now. But it wasn't the products, right? And so that was just like where you adopt that and you go, it's great. You're thrown up. It's great. It's great. How can we figure this out? We can figure it out. Let's walk me through this, right? It's great. It wasn't the products at all. They're working.
After the first day.
Sorry, number 10.
No. On number 9 too, Jeff and I always say, focus on where you're going to and not what you're going through.
Oh, that's good. That's good. It is. It's so easy to, like, we're just in this right now. We're so in this.
Yeah.
In the valley.
That's where all the fruit grows.
Focus on where you're
Going to. And not what you're going through.
Okay.
Isn't there a proverb on
I think that's where we got it from. So leadership, number 10, leadership is love. Love people where they're at. Some people may see this vision right away, and others may decide 3 or 4 years later. That's like what Mike and Janelle did, basically. And Wayne just kept loving them where they're at and picked up the phone and called them, and eventually after their honeymoon in Thailand, they were ready. And so I think they called him, and that's when they got started. And then it took them 3 years of doing the business to get to Diamond. So, but when they originally joined, I always laughed because I remember her saying that they bought their whole advisor order in Spark because they were just going to drink Spark and that was it. But so love people where they're at.
And I wrote down also too that every single one of us, no matter where we're at in life, ultimately we all just want to feel loved, right? And I think that something that's helped me get through a lot of my fears through this is that realizing that people are people. It doesn't matter what their income is or what job title they hold or what they've done in their life, that they're no different than I am. They're a person. They were created by the same creator. They ultimately just want to be loved. They're no different than me. And so why do I have to be scared? Right? They're just like me. They're probably scared of a lot of the same things that I am. Do you guys know that we're only born with 2 fears? Everything else is fake, made up in our head. You know what those fears are? Anybody?
Fear of heights.
Fear of dying. Fear of falling, and the fear of loud noises.
Yep. Those are your only 2 fears that you're innately born with. Everything else is a lie.
Now, I tell my wife that every time she sees a spider, but she doesn't like it.
Maybe she's scared that it will fall on her.
Falling and loud noises.
Yeah.
Loud noises.
Yep, and falling. All right, so we've got about 45 minutes left, and that's perfect, I think. That's what we've got. Yep, about 50 minutes left. I want to dive into the So That training. A lot of you guys have heard that, right? Oh, good. You know what? You know what's exciting? There's still more training that we have, so we can save it for the next training. There's really good training that Tyler DeBerry did called Working with Your Long Distance. Working with Business Long Distance. So good. But we're going to save that.
Are you sure we can't hit that now? I'm calling national right now.
Yeah.
And how about 7 battle decisions every distributor must face? Saving it. That's what we're going to talk about. All right. So did you guys all get the shield, the circle? Okay. Anybody not get the circle? Everybody got it. Okay, good. Wow, you made lots of copies. Thank you. Okay. So you guys know that I like to talk about purpose. Hopefully, you guys know that. Hopefully, I've been good at that. Let me go back here. So I start with. So Christy McGuyan, queen of unpacking your purpose.
And transparency.
Huh?
And transparency.
Yes. Yeah. Guess what? Yep. That was the. She was the one who told me it's okay to pit out. Sometimes you just get up on stage and that's what happens. Your body manifests in that way. For some of us, not all of us. But she talked about casting vision and purpose, right? And to the purpose of casting vision is to equip you and the person that you're talking to unlock destinies. The purpose of casting vision is for not only for you, but for the person you're talking to unlock destiny. We talked about this too, but I want to say it again. Your freedom is freeing to others. So if you have an issue with talking about money to people, stop it. Right now. Stop it. Okay? Money buys freedom. That's where you have to take yourself to, okay? Money doesn't buy things, right? Money buys freedom. Time is the biggest one that I can think of. But for instance, our money is buying this house that allows for you guys to come in here and be spoken life into and get your own freedom. Right? So there are some things that our money does buy to free others. If you have a problem with speaking about money, then you need to stop it, because that's what we're all really doing here. Right? And so some of us, like I said, I was one of them. Here we were earning income, and I was scared to talk about the money. But I was holding people back by not. So that's what I have to say about that. To be able to cast vision, you first have to have a vision for yourself. So if you don't have your own vision, how are you going to help others find theirs? Right? And Wayne has talked about this a little bit. But do you want to be the person who says, we're going. Just follow me because we're going somewhere. We're going places that's, come on board. We're going. We're going over there. Or do you want to be the person that says, I've got a bus right over there, and it's got 150 seats on it. And I'm going to fill each one of those seats, because in 24 hours, that bus is leaving to go to Disney World. Do you want to come get on my bus? Right? What vision are you painting for people? Okay, we all talk about we need to be going somewhere, but somewhere needs to be specific. And so that's where we come to having a vision sentence. And you guys, this was so aha for everybody in the room there. Because we all talk about purpose, and we talk about what's your purpose, right? And each of us has our purpose. Hopefully, each of you has a purpose. If you don't, get it right now. But more importantly, what's your vision statement? Okay. So what's good about this is that a lot of you have seen on our site, on maybe Wayne's site, that we ask, what's your so that statement? Okay. So what your so that statement is here it is. By the end of this year, we, now if it is just you who's doing the business, then it's I. But if you are a couple, it's we. Even if they're not doing the business, you still say we. Remember, a house united. Okay? We will be earning, sorry, it's okay, X amount of dollars so that we will be able to, and what you're going to do. Now here's the thing about the vision statement. It has to match up with your actions. This is the big one. Don't say you're going to be earning $10,000 a month by the end of this year so that, whatever that is, and not be holding mixers. And not be doing a DMO. And not be putting your upline on phone calls. And not be sacrificing to get to events. If you want to earn $10,000 a month, you are going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have to put action behind your words. Okay? So have it match up with what you intend on doing. and have it be a dollar amount, right? I think before we've told you guys like, oh, by the end of this year I'm going to be Ruby, right? No more saying pen levels. If you want Ruby, what's that income? How much money is that a month? And what's that going to do? And your so that needs to be specific. And it needs to be one thing. It's not a paragraph. It's not a Miss America pageant. It's not to bring world peace, financial freedom for all. No. What is it going to do for your family this year? And it's nice that we all want to help other people find financial freedom. Like, of course that's part of it. But what is it for you? What is that $10,000 a month going to get for your family? Right? So for us, I had to think about that. I had to think what we wanted, what's been laying on our heart. By the end of this year, we will be earning $50,000 a month so that we can adopt our daughter who's already out there waiting for us. You guys, if that doesn't get me to move every day, I don't know what will. Because all I have to think about is that there is somebody waiting for me to get that income. Her life is waiting for me. I don't know who she is. I don't know where she is. I just know she's out there. And I know what the dollar amount needed is to get her. So on those days where I don't feel like doing much, I don't feel like doing a phone call, I did a mixer last night, I don't feel like driving down to Portland to the person I said I was going to help. I don't feel like doing those things. What am I saying to her? I don't feel like coming and getting you. Not today. It's purpose, you guys. It has to be something that hits you so deep that it gets you to move. But it's also creating vision for other people. You don't think that every single person that I say to isn't going to buy into that vision? Right? Because it gets me. Allison, you want to say your so that statement?
Sure. By the end of the year, we'll be making $30,000 a month so that we can be free from our debt from my husband's construction business and bring him home forever.
And the great thing about a so that sentence, you guys, is there's a lot more behind that, right? There's a lot more that it means for their family than just Jeff coming home or just paying off debt. Yes, there's a lot behind that. But that's not what a vision statement is for. A vision statement is to give your statement, your vision, cast vision specifically, right? And then you go into the conversation of what that looks like for your family, what it can look like for their family. It has to be that statement that you own, that every day you're saying it day in and day out to yourself and to others, right? So that I can have this, right? And every day you can say to it, even if it's $500 a month, don't let it be anything that, I see people putting, well, not even that, but like this income that it's like, okay, wow, that's a diamond income. Are your actions matching up? Are you willing to do what Tori and Jason did to get that? Not many people are. So match it up with your actions. That's the biggest thing, is be specific with that.
Something I got too was making sure that you say it with strength and belief, because if you're operating in disbelief, then no one will believe you.
And remember that when you're saying this, you're speaking life over other people. Your vision is speaking vision to them. If we make it a big paragraph, what's going to happen is people are going to walk away and they're going to be like, wow, that's great for you. No, that's not what I intended my vision statement to be. Right? No, the reason why I share that with you is because I can help you get your vision. In fact, that's how I get my vision. That's how I get my so that, is by helping you.
Say one thing on that. If they say that's great for you, you need to reevaluate what you're saying to people. Like somebody said that to me and I was like, Yeah, like you're already gonna feel that way when they say that's great for you. You're already gonna be like, oh, they missed it. But that means that you're not saying, you're not articulating something clearly enough. So go home and figure that out, because especially if you get it more than once. By the way, I got it a lot. Like I get really excited, like, that's really cool for you, and they keep saying that. I'm like, no, why? Nobody understands.
Yeah.
You're saying something wrong.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what really the shorter it is, the sweeter it is, right? And so you guys have this. This is our new shield. It's not replacing the bulletproof shield. Let's get straight on that. You still have your bulletproof shield. But this is the Sew That shield, okay? It's your accountability shield. And so what I want you guys to do after we're done with this is each one of you is going to write your Sew That statement. And each one of you are going to stand up and share it. And then you're going to go home and you're going to call your team and you're going to get their Sew That statements. Okay? Because you need to know what else you are fighting for. But for a lot of people out there, they really just need to know what they're fighting for. Right? So the shield is Y, is in the middle. And the reason why we have this shield is to help protect the people that we're fighting for. Okay? So at the top, you have you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then on the side, I don't care which side, you have Advocare's vision. Advocare's vision. And at the bottom, you have we. This is your story plus 2 others on your team. And on the other side, you have your vision. And here's something that you want to help your team remember, is that you are the champion for your purpose. No one else can fight for your purpose the way you can. It's not possible. We can help fight with you, right? But we can't fight for you. Okay? And so the reason why we have this shield is this is how we help others remember what they're fighting for. So when you have somebody who's given you their Sew That statement. So for instance, Allison's Sew That statement. Well, let's say this week she doesn't do a mixer. And she doesn't do a mixer for anybody else. And I just call and, hey, how are things going in your business? What's happening? Oh, we kind of just took a week off and we'll get back to it. That's where I get to come in and use the shield, right? And the shield, the first one, you said that you were going to be earning $30,000 a month by the end of this year so that you can become financially free of debt and bring Jeff home. Did that change? Or did you just decide not to fight for that this week? You can also use Advocare's vision, right? Where's Advocare going? We're going to be $1 billion company by the end of next year, you guys. If you don't see owning a part of that, then you're not, like Allison said, you're operating in disbelief. $1 billion company that pays out 60 cents on the dollar. If I'm correct, that's $600 million, right? $600 million going back into the distributor base's pockets, where roughly only about 5% of us are actually building a business. What's 5% of 300,000? Do you believe that you can have a piece of that of 1,500 people? That's it, really? Or 15,000, I mean, 15,000. I look at Jerry, because he's usually the math guy.
Hit it pretty quickly. I was like, a percentage.
I said 0 off. 15,000.
But 15,000 people, how many of us are in this room? Like, hello, you have to operate in that belief that part of that is yours and your team. So Advocare's vision, the we, that's where you come in as a coach and you share your story. And you share maybe the story of 2 people that, let's see. I'm trying to think of a couple stories off the top of my head. Let's share Scott and Kelly's story. I shared it a little bit before, but, you know, here, show of hands, how many of us have debt? Okay, so nobody should be embarrassed about that. Everybody that we know has debt, right? So, what if I told you or reminded you that our friends, Scott and Kelly, who are down in California, they have no leadership down there, they are the leaders, just paid off $25,000 in debt in the last 6 months using Advocare's Debt Buster system. Okay? Would that give you some hope? Look, they didn't do that because they weren't doing mixers. It didn't just happen to them. They did that because there was action behind what they were wanting to accomplish, right? And then your vision. That's where you use your what if. What if? What is your life going to look like if this doesn't happen? Right? Amanda, can I use yours? What if we don't earn this income and we can't get a tutor? Right? What if? You don't even want to think about that, right? So what we do instead is we say, don't let the what if happen, and go to work, and go do another mixer, and go do another event, and go talk to people that's really uncomfortable to talk to. Because nothing is more uncomfortable if the what if doesn't come. Right? What if Jeff doesn't come home? That's another year that those kids don't see their dad. Okay? You guys, it has to be deep. It has to stir you up. It has to stir you up into action. That's the bottom line. It's about action. And I don't mean to leave it on like this note, because you guys, let it fuel you forward. Not make you sad. Let it fuel you forward. Let it be your fuel. Right? And this is what you get to use with your team. This is your shield for when they're not doing the action. You know, I think about Jen. She's buying her daughter a horse. She's matching up what she told her daughter she would achieve with her actions, and she's doing it. Right? But guess what? Now she has to have a new vision statement. Because she's created that vision. And think about what we are teaching our children and the people around us that are watching when we achieve our vision statements. You guys, Christy McGuyan's team implemented this January of this year, and she had, like 8 people come up and share their vision statements. What their vision statement was at the beginning of the year when they created them, and I have chills because every single one of those people had already achieved their vision. And it's May. It's amazing what will happen when you're speaking that vision and you're walking out in it. Every day, walking out in that vision. I mean, it was, and we're going to, at the ladies' night, Janelle's going to have the same thing happen. You're going to hear people share their so that statements. And if you share it enough times, too, guess what else is going to happen? You're going to have action behind it, because you're not going to want people to go and be like, hey, thought you were bringing your husband home. Thought that's what you were going to do with Advocare. right? Do you want people coming up to you and saying that? Like, not really a person of your word, are you? You've been telling everybody what your vision statement is, but you're not making it happen, are you? So it's also got to be, that's what I mean, like, it's got to be what your action, what you're willing to wrap your action behind, right? No modifying it. I think what we've done in the past is we say, well, when do you want to be Ruby? Oh, I want to be Ruby by Success School. Great! You're going to be Ruby by Success School. We're so excited for you. We've got your name written on the wall in our office, and then it's like, oh, guess what? It's 70 days till Success School, you guys. How's Ruby looking? Well, maybe gold. Right? If you have a strong enough so that statement, you're going to be like, nope, still speaking my so that. Going to be earning $8,000 a month by the end of this year. Sell that. And I know that's going to happen because here I'm doing all these things, right? Here's all my action that's happening. What do you want to share with that?
I was going to share about the people coming up on the stage, but I think that there's so much power in speaking something into existence and putting that belief behind it. It's the same with writing your goals down.
Mm-hmm.
When you start writing your goals down, I mean, I don't know if you all are believers, but there's a scripture that I love in Habakkuk that talks about writing your visions and making it plain and not waiting, but they will come to pass. And so I just really think that there's power in writing things down, like your list of people, because we've done that, and we'll see people just appear in our lives that we haven't seen in forever. So writing your vision down and speaking that is so, so powerful.
Yeah. And to me, you guys, what this whole thing, like when I walked away, the two big things that I wrapped my head around is I said, okay, speaking the so that statement, but speaking to people the way Tori and Jason are speaking. What if you had a so that statement that got you to speak like Tori and Jason, no matter who, when, where, what you were speaking, right? That's kind of what I thought, is that let your so that be that big, that strong, that you're speaking the way Tori and Jason are, leading with the business opportunity, not being fearful of speaking of money, knowing what kind of freedom you're going to help other people find, and being okay with the no's. Those people might just not be assigned to you. I just had a girl that she reached out as somebody that I shared Advocare with a year ago, almost exactly a year, like May 11th actually. And I followed up with her a couple of times, and she was like, she was my chicken list, one of my chicken list. She was a big no. Like, I don't know why you're calling me. You better not be selling me Advocare. Like, I am not, I'm not open to your thing. And, I was like, okay, can I maybe follow up at some point, later? She was like, yeah, but I'm sure I won't be interested. I got a message on Facebook 2 days ago and said, I'm getting ready to go all in, and I just need some reassurance from you. And I'm like, you're getting ready to go all in? That's a little person. It's a little boy. Oh. Somebody's little boy's here.
He sounds like the timing is perfect. Oh, no, you don't have to. I can't all the people in there. Let me get, can't do it.
Oh, Peyton, no, she's not.
It's a play date. I like to sew that statement too, because I think that it attaches your heart to what you're doing. And it's not just, I'm going to make this amount of money, because it lets people see your heart. That's pretty cool.
I never met him. I'm like, who are you? You're here for Peyton.
Oh boy.
What's your name? What are your intentions? Yeah. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was just saying I like it because it's attaching your heart to it.
Yeah.
And it's a promise or a contract with yourself.
Yes, that is good. That is what they said, that you're making a contract with yourself.
Yes.
What was I saying when I left? I was like in the middle of that thought.
They may not be signed.
Oh, the story. So I want to finish the story. So anyway, and at first, I'm reading this going, wow, like she's ready to sign up. This is awesome. And then like with another person, right? And so I was like, okay, how do I handle this? Because I've shared with her correctly, like shared with her in the right way, followed up, you know what I mean? Like she has been shared Advocare the right way. And so I just asked her, I said, just out of curiosity, who are you getting ready to sign up with? Because, you know, in Advocare we have an honor system that, you know, whoever shared Advocare with you first is really who you should be sent back to. And she said, well, I know you shared it first, I just relate more with these people because I can't relate with the income you're making. You guys, and I share that because, well, a couple of reasons. A lot of times I think that you think like when you get the bigger incomes that you're like, oh, it gets easier. It doesn't, right? She was signing up with someone who is making about $2,000 a month because that's where she can see herself. And she automatically had the thought that they would be able to help her better because they didn't have such a big team, right? So she had all these things. And what I did is I walked away and I said, what could I have done better, right? Well, I needed to have a better vision statement with her. I shared with her what our income was, but I didn't share with her what kind of freedom that income meant, right? And most importantly, I didn't share with her what that kind of income could mean for her family. So this is why it's so important to have a vision statement. And it's so important to understand that no matter where you're at in this journey, you're always growing. But a leader will always take responsibility and say, what can I do better? And yeah, I did talk to the girl who she's signing up with, and she said, I swear she didn't ever say she talked to you. And I believe her. I believe her. And I wish her the best of luck. And I said, if there's any way that I can help, let me know. You know, and this was somebody that like God was like, you need to talk to this person, you need to share Advocare with her, like I knew I needed to. You know what? Advocare was for her. Just not with me. But it could have been with me if I would have shared my vision correctly. Okay, so make sure that you're sharing your vision correctly so that other people can get vision for themselves. That's the whole point, to unlock their destinies. Right? So with that, what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to take some time and I want you to think about what your vision statement is. Remember, it's for this year, okay? It's by the end of this year. By the end of this year, we will be earning X, and it's the same. Like, you don't get to alter that. By the end of this year, we will be earning X amount of dollars so that we can XYZ, right? All right, and so then once you guys get that written down, I'm going to have you guys start sharing those because I want you to share them and then ask yourself, how many times a day can I share that, right? If you're a couple, make sure you're sharing it with each other. Make sure that it's the same, too. It doesn't have to be exactly the same vision, right? But you need to be on the same page about what you're going to do. I mean, Jeff's not going, my vision isn't really to come home, right? Like, no, their vision is the same. But their vision statement is the same because it's a we.
I don't know if this would be helpful for me. The pin level income, what that breaks down to months.
Yes, yeah. So silver is about $1,000 a month.
That's $3,000, I think.
Gold is about $38,000 a year. So what's that a month? Jerry?
It's about 3,300.
3-star is about 43 a year. And you guys you do the math on you're like totally asking the wrong person. Ruby is roughly about $7,000 a month. Yeah. And 6-star is about $100,000 a year. Emerald jumps up to 143.
Well, it says two different things, actually, so I was gonna ask you about that. But on the 2012 income disclosure, I think it says 192. But then on the pins, on the Advocare side, it says 186.
Because the pins are old. I think they're like the 2011
Okay.
disclosure.
About
Yeah.
16 or 17,000.
So about 16 or 17 for Emerald. 9 stars, probably about 24, 25. And you guys, it doesn't have to be a pen level number. Here's the big thing. Because some of you are in your first year. Some of you, it could be, what's a rookie bonus? Right? How many rookie bonuses are going to get earned? You guys, like, you have 24 opportunities to earn a rookie bonus. You know, factor those in. Like, I'm going to be earning $6,000 a month by the end of this year, not necessarily because you're Ruby, but because you've earned 5 rookie bonuses that have totaled into that. Okay? So, and of course you're not going to like say, okay, rookie bonuses, and I mean, that's really Ruby and, like, no, that's just what the amount is, right?
Some people are above average or some are below, like I make more than silver, but I'm not gold yet.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. And again, those are the averages. So it's got to be the amount of what that means for your family. Like for me, like $50,000 a month for us means that we're able to go and pay whatever ransom is being held on her life. That I can come in with cash, whatever that ransom is. I don't have to raise funds. I don't have to worry about like what it's going to cost me to travel if I need to be there for a month to get her. Like, I'm thinking of all those things that come into play and going, that's the kind of money that I'm going to need so that I can just come in cash in hand and buy her. Because we have it on our heart to save a little girl from the sex trafficking industry. So we already know we're going to have to pay her ransom. Right? So whatever income that is. I mean, it can be like $6,500, right? If that's what like takes over your job, like, you know, what you earn from corporate America. Okay? All right, I'll give you guys a couple minutes to that. Ooh, we're doing so good on time. I'm proud of us. Huh? 1:44. Yeah.
So I want to need your guys' help, because we always run into this. It's almost like we're working together, although we're not. And so I just texted him, like, ours aren't the same, but mine involves you and yours involves me. It's so off. It's just something that I asked about it. I just don't know. What do you guys think about that? Because I'm just thinking, that's what I was telling you.
Maybe he just needs to propose.
I'm like, let's get it on.
Just saying.
But yeah, I'm just like, what? And I'm saying the number in my head, thinking what he's making and what I'm making are combined income, separately but combined.
Yeah. So here's what I think. I mean, well, what is your SODAP? Well, I mean, what's the SODAP part of it?
Mine?
Yeah.
So that we can get married and be done first.
Okay.
Start our
And
marriage
what's
first.
his?
So that you can step away from the job and be home with the girls.
Okay.
I mean, a lot more after that, but yeah.
Okay. And so what kind of income, if you were to put yours together, would that be?
Wow, that would be like, well, not really actually. I mean, we need to be making about $10,000 a month before we're debt free by the end of the year.
Okay. Right. So who's going to get you there? You or him?
Of course.
So you're both saying we need to be, by the end of this year, we'll be earning $10,000 a month. So that, and each of your SODAPs.
Okay.
Because they're roughly the same.
Yeah.
But $10,000 a month. We will be earning $10,000 a month.
Yes.
Because your businesses are going to combine at some point, right? I mean, it's like Jerry and Julie, like they've always spoke we. Like, I mean, like even when he speaks, we are silver.
Yeah.
Well, Julie's not technically a silver pin, but she's part of that we.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah. He's actually silver because of her. But
That's why it's so nice to work. Such a good thing. So, yeah, it's technically.
Jerry, you want to explain the technicality? You just researched it?
Yeah, I think like if you're 3-star gold or above, if one of us are 3-star gold or above, then you can actually take, is it a year or 6 months? 6 months, and you can operate as separate businesses and basically collect 2 checks. Or you don't have to, but if you want to, if you're actually going to collect, if you're basically you both have really good width, essentially, outside of each other. But if you're under 3-star gold, then you have to combine immediately. So if Julie combined with me, then all of her width would come up to me.
It would just be frontline.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Just come, yeah. So basically then, what that also means is, if someone's in depth right now, 3 levels deep right now, that's 4th level right now, to me, they'd be 3 levels, so you actually, you'll see the difference in overrides and leadership levels.
Yeah, yeah. So that all moves up. So Jennifer Blundell and Nate DeTracy are a great example. So he was 9-star emerald, she was diamond. When they got married, they went instantly to platinum.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Right? Because his 9-star legs moved up to her front line. So she had her 12, now his 8, because he was one of the star legs, right? So 8 moved up. So now they're platinum.
So they had 20 frontline at that point?
Yeah, they have about 18 that star consistently now. But here's an interesting thing, is that the check from diamond to platinum that's not that big of a difference. It's only like 0.25% or something.
So now for, like, we're separate, or do we each have our own statement, or do we?
Yeah, so what we're just talking to Lene about is that what is it that you both, like, that you're both fighting for to happen at the end of the